I think that we're mentally tougher, and I think we have a chance to win it. Sure, I think we can go down there and play a real ball game and come away with a win.
They've had a couple of off years the last 2 years, but they were still solid enough last year to beat a tremendous Washington football team. They have 7 back on offense that are starters, 7 back on defense that are starters, and one of the outstanding quarterbacks that I've seen in college football, in Tommy Maddox.
Danny, this game is real similar to 2 years ago when the teams last met, but it's kind of a role reversal. 15-point underdog Tennessee beating UCLA 2 years ago, 24-6, and that really began UCLA's demise in the back-to-back 2-season slide.
It also began Tennessee's win streak. Before I talk about this game, Dan, I want to point out to UCLA fans, Terry has got to start listening to suggestions from his brother, Dan Donahue. Now that we've got that out of the way, Tennessee's loaded again, and they've got the one thing you can't coach, tremendous team speed. For 2 years, we've been talking on this show how great Tommy Maddox is. He's a #1 draft pick. He's the best quarterback in the country, so keep an eye on him today. His favorite receiver is Sean LaChapelle. Now, don't confuse LaChapelle with the wine that Dan ordered at dinner last night. But in the hopes that UCLA's offense can match Tennessee's offense, I think UCLA can keep it close, and that's why I like UCLA. They've dropped to 7.5, some places 8, but that's why I like UCLA.
Sacks without really having to blitz much against the Cardinals. They are so quickly. I hope Bruin Tommy Maddox was real nice to his offensive lineman this week.
He probably was. And remember, Tommy Maddox is probably the best young quarterback in America. He's got outstanding talent. He's a great football player. Watch him here in the shotgun. He'll fake a little sweep, but what I like here is the quick release. Watch. He throws the ball with some zip in between 2 defenders. He's an outstanding quarterback and a #1 candidate for the '92 Heisman. Now, UCLA has done something a little bit different. In practice this week, they've used loudspeakers to get noise in there because Tennessee is a tough place to play. What they've done is change their visual signals now, and they're using hand signals between the quarterbacks and receivers because they don't expect to hear anything in Knoxville.
They couldn't practice against Tennessee, though. I think the Vols are going to be too much for them. Now, at Penn State, they are still hot about...
Heard out of the Rose Bowl last week as UCLA held on against Ty Detmer and BYU to win their season opener. All-American candidate Tommy Maddox set Pac-10 freshman passing records last year and could very well top the UCLA charts before he's finished. Junior Kevin Williams balances the Bruins, who are playing in Knoxville for the first time since 1985. Back-to-back SEC championships have done nothing to deter the enthusiasm at Tennessee, nor has the dynamic combination of Andy Kelly to Carl Pickens. An electrifying punt return, and this 75-yard TD pass from Kelly gave Pickens and the Volunteers all the offense they would need last week at Louisville. Today, a top 25 clash. UCLA battles Tennessee next. Live from Neyland Stadium on the bank of the Tennessee River, TBS Sports is proud to continue our 8th consecutive season of SEC football. Today, we're in Knoxville, Tennessee, in front of more than 90,000 Big Orange fans as the 21st-ranked UCLA Bruins take on the number 11 Volunteers of the University of Tennessee. Hello, everybody. Along with Tim Foley, this is Bob Neal at Neyland Stadium, a hot Neyland Stadium. And speaking of hot, we've been here many times over the years, and the Tennessee Vols give us exciting football always, and a lot of times, a lot of offensive firepower. How about 91?
We've seen a lot of offense in the past, but they're returning 2 starters this year. 9 guys got drafted by the NFL. They come back with Andy Kelly and Carl Pickens. And it's they're going to try to get the ball to Pickens. Obviously, he's just a stellar athlete, but they're going to come at UCLA early and try to play smash mouth with them with a couple of freshman tailbacks and drive the ball down their throat.
Now, UCLA has struggled the last couple of years in the win-loss column. They've been without a star.
3-7, 5-6, no Gaston Green, no Troy Aikman. Well, they got one now, Tommy Maddox, and he's enough to scare you to death if you're a defensive coordinator. If they can protect him, give him some time, and develop a little bit of a running game, it's going to be a long afternoon for the Tennessee defense.
So the UCLA Bruins ranked 21st in the country, Tennessee ranked 11th. Last time they played back in 1989, Tennessee won the ball game, successfully running the football. Now, since we have a big West Coast audience with the folks from L.A. here, UCLA, we brought in Ron Thulin. He's sidelined, and it's breakfast with Ron. Ron?
Thank you, Bob. Exactly right. It is breakfast, however, with the Bruins. Now, don't forget, this team is on West Coast time. They woke up this morning at 5:30 Pacific time. The game is at 9:40 Pacific time. They have to overcome that. Another thing that UCLA must overcome today is the 90,000 plus here at Neyland Stadium. Terry Donahue says he doesn't expect the crowd really to affect his ball club. They have been practicing with noise all week. But the big problem for UCLA, according to Terry Donahue, is the heat. The normal temperature here in Knoxville this time of year is 83. They're expecting a high of 95 today. Already here on the field, it is better than 110 degrees. They're not used to this kind of heat. UCLA has their hands full with not only the time, the crowd, but also the humidity. Now let's check in with Paul Ryden in the Old Milwaukee Insider Report.
Stadium, more than 90,000 today. They can wedge as many as 97,000 or even a little more into this stadium. It's the second biggest city in Tennessee on game day, and we are on the banks of the Tennessee River. A hot, humid day, and Big Orange football is what it's about in Knoxville, Tennessee. And they certainly love here in the SEC to bring what they like to call the surfers in from the West Coast and play them. And UCLA is here today. The last time these two teams played was out on the West Coast. Tennessee won that football game, and Tim, you and I were talking about that. A couple of freshman running backs for Tennessee played very well in that game by the name of Webb and Pop.
Exactly, and that's the thing they're hoping for from Hayden and Stewart. But let me tell you what, the UCLA Bruins, they didn't bring their surfboards. They brought their helmets, and they're going to apply them to the Tennessee Volunteers. Terry Donahue is very emphatic about the fact that they would play hard, that they've been disappointed about the performance the last 2 years, and he wasn't sure what would happen today, but they would play hard.
You see, last year UCLA was 5-6, but they opened the season with a 27-23 victory over Ty Detmer and the BYU Cougars. Terry Donahue, 12 winning seasons at UCLA in 15 years, the only coach in NCAA history to win 7 consecutive bowl games, and he is 1-1-1 against Tennessee. The Volunteers, 9-2-2 in 1990. The Vols opened the season with a 28-11 win over Louisville, and here comes Johnny Majors. He was an All-American, a runner-up as a Heisman Trophy winner in 1956 here at his alma mater. His 24th year as a coach, 15th year at Tennessee, 103 victories, and they're rocking and rolling at Neyland Stadium already. We'll be back with a kickoff right after this.
SEC football on TBS. UCLA at Tennessee is brought to you by Aflac, insuring over 35 million people worldwide, and by Dr. Pepper Company and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered. And by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this.
Just moments before the kickoff, our TBS cameras were inside the Tennessee locker room to hear Johnny Majors.
Kickers, do your job. 7, most important. Catch the fight, UCLA, and keep it there for 60 minutes. Right, 6 minutes.
Seen in the Tennessee locker room moments ago, and now Tennessee will receive. UCLA won the toss and will defer, and this is darned if you do, darned if you don't. You've got Dale Carter and Carl Pickens to kick to. Dale Carter led the nation in kickoff returns last week. Carl Pickens returned a punt for a touchdown last week, and Carter led the nation in kickoff returns last year. Here's Carter. Out to the 32-yard line, where the Volunteers behind Andy Kelly will go on offense. Andy Kelly, the senior from Dayton, Tennessee, threw 2 interceptions last week in the victory over Louisville, and as Johnny Majors said, Tennessee, which has always been great in turnover ratio, has to get better. They had 5 turnovers against the Louisville Cardinals, including the 2 interceptions thrown by Andy Kelly. Both of them were tipped balls. Tennessee starts off with a running play to Kenneth Campbell. And let's have a look at the Dr. Pepper starting lineups. First of all, offensively for the Volunteers. Carl Pickens, the split end. Tavio Henson, Kenneth Campbell are the starters at running back, but you're going to see some great freshmen in there, too. Not much depth at the wide receivers position for Tennessee. John Fisher and Tom Myslinski are the strongest of an offensive line for Tennessee. Remember, as Tim pointed out to me before the game, 9 of the starters on offense last year went into the NFL draft. This is Tavio Henson running right side. About 3 yards. He was hit by Othello Henderson. So it'll be 3rd down for the Volunteers. The ball will be spotted out at the 37.5-yard line.
Talking to Bob Fields, a defensive coordinator here at UCLA last night and before the game. They are concerned about the heat, as Ron had mentioned, and they're going to alternate people. That time, Shizlinski really made great penetration up the field and broke up the timing of that play. First possession pass here.
This will be 3rd down 5 from the 37-yard line. Draw play, right side. Short of the first down is Tavio Henson. He goes down at about the 38-yard line. UCLA defensive team, you see some of the surfers have made the trip here to Knoxville. They were surfing earlier. I saw it was interesting, Tim, right out here in the Tennessee River. It's unbelievable.
That's James Malone. Big play there, held on and brought down Tavio Henson. Henson is a walk-on defensive back. They converted him to running back, and as you mentioned, Bob, they're looking to work these freshmen in there because they've got stellar ability.
Chad LaRose will take the punt off the foot of Tom Hutton. Notice that he's a left-footed punter. And in the spirit of Tennessee, he opens with a great punt. Could have gone dead at the 1, but goes into the end zone for the touchback. A 61-yard punt from the true freshman punter from Memphis, Tennessee. And here's the man Tim was talking about. Number 8 for UCLA is Tommy Maddox. Tommy Maddox last year, 2,682 yards passing as a freshman, threw for 409 yards in one game against Southern Cal. That is a UCLA record. He is 6'4", 195 years, 95. He's an older sophomore, 195 pounds from Bedford, Texas. Tommy Maddox. Out of the eye, and into the tailback, Ricky Davis, and he is knocked down in the backfield. Here's the UCLA offensive team, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Shackles. They'll have their hands full with the Tennessee defensive ends trying to protect Maddox. So down the very multiple sets on offense. Homer Smith, the offensive coordinator. You might recognize some things the way Alabama looked a few years ago when Homer was there. The first pass intended for Michael Moore. It goes incomplete. And let's look at the Volunteer defensive unit now. This is a veteran defensive unit that returned. Chuck Smith had 3 sacks last week. A defensive line combined for 7 against the Louisville Cardinals. Strong linebackers. Sean Walker very active in the middle, number 45. And the defensive backfield for Tennessee led for about everybody's preseason All-American Dale Carter at free safety. 3rd and 13 from the 17. Here's the handoff to Ricky Davis. Cuts against the grain out to the 25-yard line, short of the first down.
Now, both teams being conservative, both teams having confidence in their defense, don't want any turnovers early, both 3rd and long situations. They run the draw.
There's Dale Carter, dropping back to about his 40. Number 93 is Courtney Kyler, who had a nightmare punting the ball against BYU, averaged only 28 yards per punt. In trouble with that snap. It's really a decent kick here, end over end. Carter at the 40. Reverses his field, gets 2 or 3 yards out to about the 43-yard line, where the Volunteers will have excellent field position. That was a 35-yard punt. Opening moments of the first quarter, scoreless game. Both teams 3 downs and out. It'll be back to Tennessee, and Ron Thulin's on the sideline.
Bob, this is only the 3rd time in 20 years that Tennessee had their home opener during the day. The other 2 times prior to today were against UCLA. Believe it or not, both games ended up in a tie. Bob and Tim.
I guarantee you, Terry Donahue would like to have this one during the day. He wasn't real happy with the fact that the game was switched to nighttime simply because of the heat that they're experiencing on the field right now.
Aaron Hayden, number 24, the true freshman running back in there for Tennessee. He gets the carry and is thrown for a loss by James Malone, the inside linebacker on the left side for the Bruins. Aaron Hayden is the true freshman from Detroit, Michigan. He went to Mumford High School, and Hayden just last week had over 100 yards, 109 versus Louisville, and another true freshman had 101 for Tennessee.
And that was James Stewart I was talking. Well, I'll tell you after the play.
This will be 2nd down 11. Campbell and Hayden in the backfield for the Volunteers. The play fake to Hayden. Kelly's a throw. It is complete for a first down at the 42 to sophomore Craig Faulkner, number 4, and the first down of the day, a gain of 17 yards.
Kelly Reed's Faulkner coming across the field. They need to develop a counter punch to Carl Pickens, and drags this across the field. Now you see Othello Henderson was right there. If he'd have seen him come and picked him up last year, that would have been Eric Turner and an interception for UCLA. Henderson will come on.
Here's Hayden, breaks a tackle in the backfield. No, he didn't. He is dragged down hard by Randy Cole, who is the right outside linebacker. Terry Donahue really likes the outside linebackers, too, to come out of the UCLA program.
Also an important man in that secondary is Carl Greenwood, who's getting his first start as a UCLA Bruin, lining up against Carl Pickens.
Pickens in motion. Kelly gets rid of it to Faulkner. Faulkner inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. He's hit by 43, Matt Darby.
Well, last year it was Pickens and Alvin Harper, and Alvin Harper was the #1 draft choice by the NFL this year. And you see this look, you're going to see this all afternoon. They're going to move Pickens, they're going to try to draw attention to him, and Faulkner just going to work his way around downfield, try to find an open area. They need someone that can catch the ball, that can be a threat to counteract all the attention that Pickens will draw.
3rd down 2 from the 35-yard line. Kelly.
Did a wonderful job. He came off the line. Greenwood was looking at him. Pickens was just kind of loafing down the field. The ball went into the air. He took off, and Greenwood couldn't make up the ground. Just kind of lulled the young defensive back to sleep on that one.
Well, a game and a portion of a quarter and 2 touchdown catches already for Carl Pickens. The point after by Kevin Windlebow is good. And the Tennessee Volunteers take the lead 7-0 with 9:13 remaining in the first quarter.
You see him just loafing down the field, no big deal. All of a sudden, you know, and Greenwood says, "What's that noise?" And that's Pickens taking off. Beautiful throw by Kelly.
The Tennessee Volunteers have the lead at Neyland Stadium. So Carl Pickens with his 2nd touchdown catch of this young season. He had a 75-yard TD reception last week against Louisville. This one for 34.
Good protection there, and Kelly read it well. This is something that they've worked on in practice. You can tell he wasn't coming out running. He was coming out just trotting, and then all of a sudden, bang, he took off when the ball hit the air, and Greenwood just couldn't recover.
This is Joey Chapman kicking off for Tennessee. To the 3 to Ricky Davis. Found the small seam and squirms his way to the 25. So Tennessee gets out in front with an excellent drive. 5 plays, 57 yards, only 219 on that drive. Andy Kelly, the quarterback for the Volunteers, 3 out of 3 for 59 yards.
UCLA can do it in a hurry, too, Bob. They had a 3-play drive against BYU, 61 yards and a touchdown. They had a 5-play drive, 79 yards with LaChapelle and Richardson. And with the assortment of running backs, they can get on the board in a hurry.
Maddox gets his backs in an eye, slot right formation. First down, trailing 7-0. Ricky Davis, he's buried back there. However, a penalty marker is down at the 21-yard line. Looked like somebody may have gotten a hold of a face mask. Shazon Bradley and Casey Rogers were the penetrators off the defensive line. There's Shazon Bradley. He was a former linebacker. He's up to nearly 270 pounds now, according to Johnny Majors.
And I was talking to Rex Norris, who's the defensive line coach here, and he said this kid's just
got
an amazing...
an incidental face mask against the defense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
Amazing young man in that he's got such a tremendous work ethic. He will go out jogging after 2-a-days. Sometimes after practice, he'll go down to the gym and box. He's got a couple of people that he likes to work with. We saw him as a freshman playing in the defensive line. Then they moved him to middle linebacker. He's been in a lot of different spots, but has found a home at defensive line. Just a wonderful young guy to work with, says Rex Norris.
This will be first down over again, and with the penalty, make it first down and 8 for UCLA. Try Davis again. A little bit more success this time to the 32-yard line. Ricky Davis is a sophomore out of Houston, Texas. He's 5'9", 175, and UCLA is looking for another Gaston Green, looking for another star running back, and they haven't found him yet.
You recruit people, and you bring people in, and you feel like you've done a good job, and you never know what's going to happen. A guy that you didn't think was going to be a big player turns into a starter for you. Somebody that you count on to do big things just doesn't emerge.
Second down 4 for Tommy Maddox and the Bruins. They're going to keep trying that run. First down. Davis across the 35 to about the 38-yard line. Shazan Bradley gets credit for the tackle for Tennessee.
And I think that's what UCLA has to do. They have to establish the run, just as Johnny Majors would like to establish the run also. Maddox is very nifty on his feet, especially for a big guy, but you don't want to put your quarterback in a situation where you know they're going to throw all the time, because Tennessee can rush the passer as well as any team in the country.
Maddox out of the shotgun. First down from the 38. Left side handoff to Ricky Davis. Able to turn the corner and get it to the 42-yard line. Shazan Bradley with his 3rd tackle this early afternoon.
You love it when Shazan does big things because he's got such a great name. So that's what Ricky Davis was hearing on that run. Here comes Shazan. Zoom.
Look at that flip back there. It's going to be big, big trouble. 87 is Paul Richardson, and he is tossed down at the 25-yard line. Ernest Fields with the stop. A loss of 16 yards. Well, that'll stop a drive.
You've got UCLA trying to catch Tennessee off guard. Try to run some no-huddle stuff, some quick stuff, because Tennessee does substitute in passing situations.
Well, they caught themselves off guard with a loss of 16. This will be 3rd down 22. Ricky Davis will run it on the 3rd down. Spins out to the 29-yard line. Tommy Maddox, who threw for 2,682 yards last year, has only thrown the ball once on UCLA possessions so far today. And UCLA on 4th and 19 will have to get rid of the ball. Courtney Kyler in there, the sophomore from Santa Ana, California.
As you mentioned, Homer Smith, the offensive coordinator here at UCLA, he's done a number on Tennessee before, a couple years ago when he was at Alabama.
This is a good punt from Kyler. It drives Carter back to the 15. Penalty marker down. Carter goes down. They're flying all over the place. But the first flag went down back at the Tennessee 25-yard line. Man who made the tackle is Kevin Jordan. 53-yard punt, 29-yard return, but it'll come back.
Most of the players on that Tennessee defense were playing for Tennessee when they played Alabama up in Birmingham.
First down.
Homer Smith orchestrated an offense that ran up 47 points on that Tennessee defense. So they've seen these formations before and this pattern before. They're a lot better football players now than they were then, though.
We have 5:39 to go in the first quarter. Tennessee has the 7-0 lead on the 34-yard touchdown pass from Kelly to Carl Pickens. UCLA moving the ball, tried a little razzle-dazzle. It backfired on them, and now the Vols have it again. The 1985 meeting between the Bruins and Vols saw a banner day for Tennessee quarterback Tony Robinson, who passed for 387 yards, 68 on this strike to Joey Clinkscales as the Vols built a 26-10 lead. But the Bruins rallied behind quarterback David Norrie, who found Willie Anderson from 25 yards out to pull to within 2. Then Gaston Green's two-point conversion run tied the score at 26-all with just 37 seconds left to play. That was a great one in 1985, but we're 1991 now. 5:39 to go in the first quarter. First down 10 Tennessee from the 7.5-yard line. Aaron Hayden goes down at the 13-yard line, the true freshman running back.
And a big play by Matt Darby. And of course, being an old defensive back, you love to watch guys like this play. He's a 4-year starter at UCLA, and as you mentioned, in the tradition of great safeties that they've turned out in the past, Matt gets around the football, a team leader, and he's going to come up with some big plays sometime this afternoon.
On the second down, here comes Hayden trying the right side. UCLA stretches him out of bounds, as a matter of fact, at the 19-yard line. Here's Ron Thulin.
Bob, just a couple of minutes ago, you were talking about UCLA on offense, and Tommy Maddox has not thrown the ball a lot. Well, the Tennessee coaches are very aware of that. Over on the sideline just a minute ago, they were talking to the defensive back saying, hey, they're toying with us. They're going to start throwing the ball. Keep your heads up. And they're stressing it emphatically. Bob?
Well, that's Tim Keene down there, the defensive backfield coach, keeping those guys alert. They've watched films all week long. They know what he can do, that's for sure.
Third down 4, 2 freshmen in the backfield now. Kelly wants to throw. That's somebody right in his face. He's going to underthrow it, and nobody will be able to get back to it. Craig Faulkner was the intended receiver, covered by Carlton Gray, but Kelly had to throw that one under a lot of pressure right in his face.
You're going to see James Malone coming here. Young man from Dallas, Texas. He was voted the most improved player on this defense last year. Kelly kind of rolls to his left. You're going to see number 58 show up here. Bang. Knock him down. And I'm impressed with Faulkner's speed. He was running right with Gray there. Gray is an excellent defensive back from UCLA, and Faulkner was pulling even or pulling away.
Tom Hutton had a 60-yard punt last time, the freshman punter for Tennessee. This is Chad LaRose, fair catching at the 36.5-yard line for UCLA. Tennessee leads at 7-0 with 4:42 remaining in the first quarter. That was a 45-yarder. Tennessee leads at 7-0 on the 34-yard TD pass from Andy Kelly to Carl Pickens. Couldn't get anything happening that time as they began their offensive series inside the 10-yard line. So UCLA takes over at the 36. And Maddox, who's only thrown one pass, and as Ron Thulin was telling us, the secondary coach, defensive coaches for Tennessee saying, don't let that fool you.
He's a dangerous man with the ball in his hand.
He's going to throw again. Screens it out to the right side. This time it is complete to Sean Wills. Wills down at the 42-yard line. Sean Wills is a senior from Hanford, California, who's 5'11", 180, one of the tailbacks. We'll see 3 or 4 back there, and he's a good receiver. He'll make a lot of catches.
Yes, he will. He played behind Brian Brown last year, but he does catch the ball exceptionally well coming out of the backfield. Had 18 catches last year.
Wills and Khalif Carter are now in the backfield. Second down 4. Stopped short of the 45-yard line is Khalif Carter. He's a big 230-pound fullback from Huntington Beach, California.
And I would say that they like the left side of that UCLA offensive line with Spalding and Nowitzki. Nowitzki, a starter, a good, strong starter. Started 11 games last year, good, strong player. And Spalding is one of 2 players to also start 11 games. So those guys have been working together in critical situations. I think they'll like the left side.
Third down 1, a long one. Maddox didn't like what he had going there, so he wisely called a timeout in what will be a critical situation for the UCLA Bruins out here near midfield.
Well, he's talking there to Rick Neuheisel on the right, a former quarterback at UCLA, and Kazarian is on the left. But as Terry Donahue talked about Tommy Maddox, he said he had
Terry Donahue on the sideline talking to Rick Daly, the tight end.
Maddox is the star that they're looking for. He's a sophomore captain, which means he's well liked by his teammates. They respect his leadership ability, and he is the guy. He is the Troy Aikman or the Gaston Green. They're looking for a running back, though, too, to go with him.
By the way, Braves baseball continues tomorrow on TBS as the Braves host the Dodgers beginning at 2:05 Eastern Time. Heading into today's game, Dodgers hold a half-game lead after the 5-2 win last night. Chip Carey, Don Sutton, and Pete Van Wieren will have the action tomorrow at 2:05 p.m. as the Braves battle the Dodgers for the Western Division title in the National League. 3rd down 1, UCLA. First down for Sean Wills. After all that timeout, I guess you have to say instead of razzle-dazzle, they went with execution.
I think so. And, you know, Homer Smith is going to give you a lot of different looks, but it all comes down to being good at the basics. I mean, he set records at UCLA running a wishbone back in the 70s. And, of course, at Alabama, they set records and came back and set records last year throwing the football. So he can do it all. He's been around football for a little while. Experienced guy.
First down 10 out of the shotgun. Maddox, plenty of time. Complete for the first down to the 36-yard line to Paul Richardson, 5th-year senior from Los Angeles, who's had an injury-plagued career, but is an effective wideout matching Sean LaChapelle.
Now watch this protection. Let's talk about that first. You see Bailey working there. He throws off, but he's still got time to throw the ball with nobody really in his face, and he throws the deep out cut, the hardest throw to complete. He throws it over Miley here, gets it up in the air before Lewis can get there, and it's just a nice throw. If they don't get pressure on Maddox, you're going to be ringing the towel.
First down 10 at the 36 of Tennessee. Best penetration so far by UCLA. A yard or two that time by Sean Wills. He is tackled by Ernest Fields, number 23, the right linebacker for Tennessee. Fields is a senior from Milan, Tennessee. He's 240 pounds. Fields, Walker, Darrell Hardy, solid linebackers here for Tennessee in 1991.
Experienced, all have been around a long time. All of them have been good players throughout their career. They know what they're doing, and there's such a feeling of togetherness there that they're a dangerous group.
On the second down, pressure on Maddox, spins out of trouble, but doesn't get much. Back to the line of scrimmage. There's that Tennessee pressure. Mims got him, but the quarterback pressure came from number 5, strong safety Roderick Lewis.
Larry Lacewell, the defensive coordinator, bring in pressure from both corners. You see Miley coming, the cornerback coming, and the strong safety coming. Maddox concerned about protecting that football. He had a little bit of trouble with it last week against BYU. Wisely pulled it down.
3rd down long, 3rd and 8 at the 34 of Tennessee. Incomplete. The pressure was coming. Penalty marker. Did I see a flag go down there? Yes, there's a penalty marker. As you see, Maddox slow getting up. That could be a big defensive mistake if it's what most people here think it is, and that would be roughing the passer. Al Ford's our referee. He's the man in the white hat heading the SEC crew today.
15 yards, automatic first down.
Big mark off. They're going to put this ball inside the 20 at the 19-yard line.
Okay, let's look at this now. Here's what Tommy Maddox is going to see a lot of. 2 deep zones, and one way or the other, they're going to try to get a combination on this slot man. Watch him coming down the field. Watch those 2 linebackers move toward him. This is who Maddox is looking for. Come right there. They got a double on that guy. Maddox throws it away, but he's roughed, and it's a penalty on Tennessee. First down for UCLA.
From the 19-yard line, Maddox lost the handle on the ball. Once again, he was feeling the pressure. Tennessee has had 7 sacks last week against Louisville. This time, Kerry Bailey, 53, was back there. Chris Mims.
Okay, now he's a little play pass action here, and I think Maddox is obviously more concerned about protecting the football, not throwing the interception. Last year in their 6 losses, I think he had 12 interceptions, so he's trying to be more ball security conscious.
On the second down 10, misdirection play, stumbling forward inside to the 4-yard line goes Khalif Carter. Not pretty, but effective. That's a first down, a gain of 15 yards, and UCLA threatening to tie this game. Tennessee has the lead 7-0 inside a minute remaining in the first quarter.
Okay, let's look at this now. Here's this linebacker here, and this linebacker's going to protect the backside. UCLA caves it in here. Good break by the running back. Good vision. Tennessee pursues so intently that sometimes that back door will open up. Khalif Carter. Boy, I tell you what, you don't want to see that rascal coming down all by himself after he got some momentum going.
Tennessee just helping Sean Walker, the middle linebacker, off the field. They're not letting him put any pressure on his right leg. We'll get a report from Ron Thulin as to what the status is on the starting middle linebacker for Tennessee. First and goal from the 3 Bruins. Maddox rolling under pressure. Down he goes at the 8. Coming from the opposite side, number 22, Floyd Miley.
You'll see Floyd Miley, he's down in the 3-point stance, and he's coming after him. Now, Maddox doesn't expect anybody coming from the backside. He expects Miley to be covering the tight end and thinks he's got a lot of time to get it off, but Tennessee defense wins on that one.
Second down goal from the 9. To the 5-yard line to Paul Richardson. He was knocked down there. Quick release, and that's the end of the first quarter with UCLA threatening, but Tennessee leading by a score of 7-0. It'll be a big third down conversion when we return to Neyland Stadium. Well, Tennessee leading 7-0, but UCLA threatening. Big third down call. Any kind of prediction here, Coach Foley?
When you got Homer Smith pulling the trigger, you never know where it's going. He'll find a weak spot. He's got the tendency, but they like Sean Chappelle down here. If they can get it to him, they'll get it to him. He's sure-handed and certainly was excellent against BYU last week.
All right, they're going the opposite way now to begin the second quarter. Last week, UT held Louisville to 4 downs and no points from the 2-yard line. They can stiffen it up down here inside the 10. With extra wide receivers, he is down, so is a penalty marker. Shazam Bradley got him. He had Sean LaChapelle, Michael Moore, and Paul Richardson. No tight ends in the game. 2 running backs, Davis and Wills, indicating they were going to try to run it in. The call is holding against UCLA. So Tennessee denies the Bruins the end zone, and they'll have to go for the field goal. And that is not exactly a strong area for UCLA. Luis Perez is their kicker. He is a walk-on from El Camino Junior College. Just nobody there, but the holding call went. Tennessee denies. They'll go for the field goal, a field goal attempt of 28 yards. Remember the narrower uprights this year in college football. Perez hits it. So Perez puts UCLA on the board. 7-3. Tennessee leads after the Volunteers hold inside their 5-yard line. Here, so we'll be right back here at Neyland Stadium. It ought to be a good one. Mississippi State and Tennessee next Saturday on TBS Sports. 12:30 Eastern Time is kickoff. And speaking of kickoff, UCLA getting the ball short. It's down to Dale Carter at the 10. And he goes down at the 28-yard line. And here's Ron Thulin.
Bob, let's update you on the condition of Sean Walker, injured on that last defensive series. He has injured his right ankle, the same ankle he hurt last week. The doctor says they're going to tape him up, and they're going to see if he can play right back on the next series. Bob?
Thanks, Ron.
Well, if he can't go, then they go to Reggie Ingram, and Reggie is a talented young guy. He just doesn't have the experience of a Sean Walker. Sean's got kind of a tranquilizing effect. Everybody is confident and calm if he's in there, and Reggie, of course, just doesn't have the experience of Walker.
Kelly's going to throw. Has Faulkner open for the first down. And a little bit more, and hard out of bounds at the 43. That's a gain of 15 yards, and 3 catches for Faulkner, who last week against Louisville had none.
They're getting extra attention, or giving extra attention to Pickens here, and Faulkner's one-on-one with Carrollton Gray. Now, Gray's going to have to go after him a little bit. As the ball arrives, Gray ought to be there, and he is talented enough, and he's got enough speed. He needs to suck up a little bit on Faulkner and eliminate that opening.
On the first down, the ball is given to the other freshman running back, James Stewart, who simply had 101 yards last week. The two true freshmen, both over 100. First time it happened at Tennessee since 1973.
One of the things that the UCLA secondary has to be concerned about, though, Bob, is that they've thrown long early. And I'm sure that they're conscious of that. They don't want that to happen, but they can't just back off and give them those 10-yard outcuts.
Here is Stewart inside UCLA territory near the first down. James Stewart is 6'1", 195 from Morristown, Tennessee. Went to West High School there and is, as you can see, a lanky, powerful running back, and his nickname is Little Man.
Talking to Charlie Coe, the running back coach, he says this guy really explodes off the break, can really accelerate, whereas Hayden is a more of a slasher type runner. This guy's got a real power pack, and he'll unload on you.
Speaking of power pack, both Stewart and Hayden are in there now. Stewart's 33, Hayden's 24. Third down, less than a yard. Stewart, first down, and more. To the 44-yard line. May have struggled at 43. Carl Greenwood made the stop. First down, volunteer.
Tennessee's offensive coordinator, Phil Fulmer, also the line coach, and he's developed more guys that have gone on to play in the NFL. You quit counting after a while. Last year he had 2 first-round draft choices, Antoine Davis and Charles McCray, and just a fantastic developer of young talent.
On the first down 10, Kelly to go to the air again. Penalty markers down to the Tennessee backfield. Kelly driven out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Tennessee leads at 7-3, 12:54 to go in the first half. Tennessee 11th ranked in the nation. UCLA 21st ranked. Bruins beat BYU in their opener. Tennessee defeated Louisville in theirs. This is the home opener for the
Holding
Vols.
on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
Well, if someone ever accused Phil Fulmer of being conservative in his play calling, he is trying to do away with that reputation right now. Johnny Majors must have said take the gloves off, because they were sending them all deep again that time. They're throwing it down the field.
4 penalties for 42 yards for Tennessee early in this ball game. Leading 7-3.
That last time you had Darby matched up downfield.
And Tennessee's going to get a timeout. Andy Kelly called it to come over to the sideline for a chat
with Randy Saunders, former UT quarterback, and he's on the phone with Phil Fulmer upstairs. There have been a lot of assistants. Both these head coaches have turned out a lot of assistants that have gone on to be head coaches and coordinators at other schools. Terry Donahue is just it seems like 30 or 40 guys that have been through there and that have learned from him and have grown from their association with him and then moved on. One of the classiest guys in college coaching today. 16 years.
Let's go to Ron Thulin.
Well, Bob, the last couple of years have been very difficult for Terry Donahue. He says, however, he likes this team a lot. But the big years for Terry Donahue were the bowl years. 7 straight bowl games, and what a record during that time. The Cotton Bowl a couple of years ago against Arkansas, his UCLA Bruins, in fact, held Arkansas to just 45 total yards. And he credits that ball game, as a matter of fact, with Tommy Maddox coming to UCLA. At the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Maddox visited with Troy Aikman. He made his decision. Bob?
3 wideouts, 1 tight end, and 1 setback in there for Tennessee on the first down and 24 as they spot it back to the 43 after the holding penalty. Batted out of the air, and boy, that could have been headlines and goal lines. Matt Werner is the man who got his hand on it. It was intended for Carl Pickens.
You know, that was a screen pass. Out of screen pass, you're supposed to kind of let him in there. Not that fast. Hold him out a little while. But that time Werner was right in the middle of it and almost took that for 6 points. Okay, Matt, come on, catch the ball there. He's like me. These defensive players, it's hard to, you want to hit everything, you know.
Yorba Linda, California. He's 6'4", 255 sophomore. It's Matt Werner. on the second down 24. Kelly going upstairs again, but it's going to be picked off back at the 13 by number 10, Travis Collier. Collier down at the 20-yard line. Well, Kelly got it deep already. He got it past his receiver, and the only man back there playing very deep was Travis Collier, a sophomore.
Okay, here we go. You got a slot here, split end here. They're crossing. They're trying to get some, hold these linebackers. And McCleskey's going deep here. You can just barely see Collier, and Andy Kelly winds up and whips it as far as he can throw it. But Collier's back in center field. He's kind of playing a robber defense. He eliminates that area in the middle of the field, about 18 yards deep. Nothing there. McCleskey reads it. And Collier goes down after catching a punt-like interception.
From the 20-yard line on first down, the handoff goes to big Kevin Williams from Spring, Texas, the junior, who spent a lot of time, according to Terry Donahue, in his career in the Whirlpool. They had hoped that Kevin Williams could be the man to step in for Gaston Green, but his career has not developed as well as they had hoped, although Kevin had 132 yards running the football last week. And we're looking at Shazon Bradley there in the Tennessee defense. Second down, 11. Maddox with the play fake. Still under pressure. Just had to lose it. Intended for Brian Allen, number 86.
Excellent job by Ernest Fields. Great coverage there on Tennessee's part. Chappelle trying to run a sideline pattern here. Maddox running out toward him, but looking back at the tight end. And Fields had just found that tight end, who so often comes open across the field, and was just right with him. Maddox wisely threw the ball at his feet and then accepted the punishment.
So on 2 downs, UCLA's lost a yard. This is third down 11. 5 defensive backs in there for the ball. See where the pressure come from this time. Maddox just takes it back down at the line of scrimmage, and the Volunteers defense and the miscues on the part of UCLA holding the Bruins to not much so far. They'll have to punt it away again. Tennessee leading it 7-3 with 11:37 to go in the first half.
Well, one of the nice things if you're the secondary coach or the defensive coordinator for Tennessee is you can get good pressure with 4 guys. That time a little bit of a bad snap, but those Tennessee defensive ends are coming, and they're going to continue to create that pressure. If you can do it with 4 guys, that's just a real benefit.
They're going to come after this punt too. Kyler. Tennessee at the 3-yard line. The man who got it for Tennessee was Darryl Hardy. You just had a feeling that Tennessee was going to get that ball.
Tennessee is coming, and it just takes a little too long. Hardy is there with the block. Orange men all over the place. Big pressure. Terry Donahue talked about the kicking game, how he thought it was going to make a difference.
Tennessee inside the 5. Gives it to Hayden. Hayden is stopped. Well, he's not stopped yet. Finally, the whistle sounds. He was still struggling, still churning. Hayden rushed for a touchdown last week against Louisville. So Tennessee with a big break here, leading 7-3, and the block punt. Reggie Ingram, by the way, is the man who fell on the ball down there at the 3-yard line after Hardy blocked.
And Bob Field, the defensive coordinator for UCLA, needs someone in his defense to step up right here. Somebody to make a big play. Keep them out. Just give them 3.
Second down goal, Tennessee in that power formation. Both the freshmen are in there. This is Stewart. Denied the end zone. He was hit by Arnold Ale and Othello Henderson over on the left side of the Tennessee line. Gets it to the 1, actually about the half-yard line.
Tennessee working over on Danley and Maslinski's side, 2 of their strongest linemen. Big play by Ale.
Third down, less than a yard. Excuse me, Tim. Sorry. Maddox and a Tennessee touchdown 3 plays later.
You need a step ladder to knock him out this time. A fella Henderson tries to get up there. Grady's scrambling to get to the play. Even Gray. But I think he'd have jumped over the crossbar. That guy was up in the air. James Stewart, blast off, 6 points.
Wendell Bow for the point after. It's good. Tennessee leads at 14-3. Hardy blocked the punt. Ingram fell on it. Stewart scored the touchdown.
Okay, here it is. These two folks got to block these 3 guys, and this one is the one that's supposed to block 2. Where it breaks down is right here. Darryl Hardy, watch his move. Arm over inside. He gets inside that block. Boom. And keeps coming and makes a play on the ball. Big play by Darryl Hardy that gave James Stewart the chance to score 6. UCLA's defense comes in there, holds them out for 2 downs, but then it's the launching pad. You're going to keep him out. Great effort by a true freshman, James Stewart, to get 6 points.
Sean Wills, 37 and 31. Ricky Davis are back deep. Davis will take it in the end zone. He's going to run it out. Not a good idea. Stopped at the 13-yard line. Well, not much of a scoring drive here. The block punt, 3 plays later, they take it into the end zone, and Tennessee leads by a score of 14-3 with 9:49 remaining in the first half of play.
That's what's going to happen for Tennessee this year. They're rebuilding their offense, trying to replace 9 people that were drafted by the NFL. I've never heard of that before. And their defense is going to have to carry them for a little while. Give them good opportunities and their kicking game.
UCLA will have to start in the hole again. Maddox 3 for 6, 25 yards passing so far today. He's been under pressure all afternoon. It is complete and incomplete. Rick Daly caught it, but it was knocked loose from his body by a very hard hit. They may say he caught it and fumbled it out of bounds. Let's see where they spot it. That's what they're ruling. They're going to spot it at the 20.
Looking back into the sideline, just trying to get something going. Nails it in there to Daly, and then Tracy Smith comes and separates Daly from the ball. They call it a fumble. The official, you can tell the official has made his decision by the way he's tracking that ball.
So 2nd down 4. UCLA. Good break for UCLA, actually. They get 6 yards on what could have been an incompletion. Handoff on the left side to 20, Kevin Williams. He doesn't get much. This Tennessee defense is strong. Front 4 solid linebackers. It'll be tough for anybody to run against Tennessee this year.
Now, if you're a UCLA fan, you might be saying, what are you doing? Why are you running the ball like that? We need to throw the ball. We need to get back in this game. And what you need to do offensively at this point is be patient and don't put your defense farther in the hole by giving Tennessee another turnover, by trying to force something in there. It's excellent defense by Tennessee at this time. UCLA will be patient and find the soft spot.
Less than a yard a carry so far today. 3rd and 2. Maddox is going to have to run it. He's got a chance for the first down and more. Maddox slides down at the 30-yard line. First down, UCLA.
What Tennessee is doing in the secondary is they're laying back in 6 short zones, and they're sometimes up, sometimes back, sometimes there's 15 yards. He wanted the check down. It wasn't there because it was a linebacker just laying in that area.
Breathing room for the Bruins. Out to the 30-yard line, first down. Maddox sidearms it to the 33-yard line to Kevin Williams. He is hit instantly by Jeremy Lincoln, the left side quarterback for Tennessee. There's Williams, number 20, the junior. Also, he came out of Texas.
And he looks impressive with the football against BYU, and Donahue just feels that the young man has tremendous potential. He's been there for 4 years, and durability's been his problem. He hasn't been able to put more than 2 games together.
On 2nd down 8. Maddox had a little time that time, but short-armed it to La Chapelle, who wanted a flag, didn't get it. Maddox, a heck of an athlete, averaged, what, 30-plus points a game in high school basketball.
That's where Larry Lacewell said he first heard about him. He thought he was going to play college basketball, but That just is representative of how nifty his feet are and how able he is to avoid the rush.
On 3rd down 8. Sidearms it both times. The last 2 times he's thrown it, Tim, he's come out of there on a 3-quarter motion and short hopped it to his receiver.
All he is saying at that point, Bob, is that there's nobody open. I'm not going to take the sack. I'm throwing it. Instead of throwing it high, he's just throwing it at the feet of the defenders and giving up. Excellent job of coverage by Tennessee's secondary. You have to continue to change the look on Maddox. He's just too bright and has too good a wide receivers. They've got quality wide receivers, so you need to keep doing different things.
Almost blocked that one. As a matter of fact, I think somebody got a hand on it. There were, once again, 10 men, and Darryl Hardy shot right up the middle again. UCLA fortunate that the ball rolls dead at the 32-yard line. The score, Tennessee 14, UCLA 3. Last week's winner in the Citgo SEC Great Performer was Anthony Dodwell of Columbus Air Force Base, Mississippi. Now, stay tuned for details. Well, UCLA made the trip out here. Remember, it's 3 hours earlier. It's only 20 minutes to 11 a.m. in the bodies of these athletes and cheerleaders. West Coast time. Volunteers lead at 14-3. Couple of yards for James Stewart.
Good penetration by James Malone, the linebacker, sticking his nose up in there and disturbing the timing of that particular running play. First downs, you can't say how important it is for both these defenses, because if you give either one of these teams a situation where they can either run or pass, it's just really difficult to defend them.
2nd down 9. Quick turnout here to McCleskey. Penalty markers are down. McCleskey is tackled at the 41 by Matt Darby.
That time the secondary rotating to stop Pickens. So they give McCluskey some room. He's a former defensive back, as you know. Just a good athlete over there. He'll block for you on the run. Catch it if you get it close.
An illegal block by the offense. 15 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat 2nd down.
Big penalty against Tennessee, and they've been plagued with them this afternoon. This is the 5th penalty against the Vols for a total of 57 yards. Spot that ball back inside the 20.
Yeah, I think I saw that called in the Louisville, Tennessee game. It was kind of a combination block, a double-team block, and I had just never really seen officials throw a flag on that on interior linemen when that happened to them.
Pickens, Fleming, Faulkner, McCleskey, 4 wideouts in there for Tennessee. They toss it to Pickens to get him in the open field, because you see what he can do. Like he's running through some of that tall cotton. He high steps it out here across the 35, a gain of 16 yards. Robert Gamble with the stop.
And Myslinski gets a nice block here on Matt Darby. You'll see it. Number 75, Daphne, coming out. Now here comes Tom Myslinski, takes Darby down, and that's what opens it up for Pickens. You don't want to give him too much room. He just kind of steps right over people. Good hustle by the rest of that Bruin defense to get there. Carl Pickens, leading receiver in the SEC last year, preseason All-American by most pickers.
You know, they didn't know exactly what to do with him either. He was a great defensive back also. At some points they thought he was going to play maybe both ways, did some. And, of course, he's kickoff returner, has been a punt returner, had a 67-yard TD punt returner last week. He sells popcorn before the game.
And Johnny Majors was talking about it. He was real happy with his attitude and how hard he was working.
That's the man who intercepted the ball for UCLA earlier, Travis Collier, who's helped off the field, looks to be okay.
And both players on both these teams are losing a lot of liquid. And one of the things that would always strike the Northerners when they came down to play the Dolphins is in the second half, cramps would become a factor.
Bernard Daphne was helped off the field also for Tennessee. The ball's starting left tackle. 3rd down 7. Kelly, short drop, lofts it. Miscommunication. He had Corey Fleming out there. It looked as though Fleming was the man who was supposed to break it down the sideline and didn't.
You know, in talking to Randy Sanders, a receiver coach for Tennessee, is saying, well, what's the hardest thing? You see him there just patting Corey on the behind there. The hardest thing for those new receivers to learn is to adjust their pattern after the ball is snapped, because you might not run the pattern that was called. You may have to make a move.
It's another cannon shot. He had one more than 60 earlier. LaRose wisely going to let that one get in the end zone. That's a 64-yard punt to go with his earlier 61-yard punt. This young man, he's a left-footed punter, which coaches like because it shows a little different look to the punt receiver. So today, 97,117, third largest crowd in Tennessee history here at Neyland Stadium. See the average attendance last year per game. They averaged over 95,000, second only to Michigan. Ohio State, Penn State, and Auburn came in there. And this is just a couple of hundred short of the largest crowd ever, which was against Vanderbilt here. On the first down, running room on the outside for Ricky Davis to the 29-yard line. One of the few successful running plays for UCLA today.
Well, that time they attacked the perimeter a little bit more as opposed to working up inside. As I said, Homer Smith is going to probe, and that time they got a good block by the tight end that enabled Ricky Davis to get some room running laterally.
Second down, 1. The give to the big fullback, Kevin Smith, who will get the first down out to the 33-yard line. Tennessee leading it 14-3. UCLA had to take the 3 when they had it inside the Tennessee 5-yard line, but the Volunteers kept them out of the end zone and held the Bruins to a 25-yard field goal. The extra Tennessee touchdown came after the punt was blocked and recovered at the 3-yard line, and 3 plays later Tennessee scored. First down, 10. Maddox again under pressure. Now, they intended to let some of those players in because they wanted to screen it to Kevin Williams, but just no time for anything to develop.
Time Chuck Smith in his face. Now, this Tennessee team as much as shut down a prolific passing Florida team last year, and Carter had a couple of interceptions and 7 points in the first half, and they did it just this way. All these change-ups. That time they were trying to swing it in the flat, and the linebacker was right in his face.
Well, good balance for UCLA. Numbers aren't big enough. 33 yards passing, 38 running. We're going to add to it on this total, though. Williams first down out to the 48-yard line. Dale Carter made the stop. And Williams had 132 yards last week, and he's adding up his total, has 16 and 3 carries this week.
They run the draw here. Scott Spaulding. You're going to see him, number 60, come into your picture right there. Nice block on Ernest Fields. Opens it up for Williams. Successful draw. They haven't really driven those linebackers back off the ball, Bob. Those linebackers aren't flying out of there for the pass. They're hanging around for the draw and the swing pass.
Kevin Smith and Kevin Williams in the backfield. Maddox batted out of the air. He can't find the passing lanes. This time, J.J. Surlis, the 6'4" right tackle, made the play, and a penalty marker is down once again over on the far side of the field.
I talked to Rex Norris about that, the defensive line coach here at Tennessee, and I asked him, do you teach that? And he said, no, it's more or less instinct, because Chris Mims, who's a defensive end, led Tennessee's defense in passes broken up. They do a great job here at Tennessee getting their hands in the air and knocking the ball down.
Official picked up the flag, said it was unintentional, no penalty. Second down, 10 from the 48. Maddox, I don't know, Tim. Something is really strange about his throwing motion. We've seen 5 or 6 passes. I know it's pressure, but
that time, Kerry Bailey was the problem with his throwing motion. He's trying to get his feet under him and get it out there. He finally found an open man out in the flat. I think Smith was out there by himself, but he just didn't have time to gather himself and deliver the ball.
Not what I expected in terms of his release and his motion. I mean, and this is 5 or 6 times today. Sometimes under no pressure.
Well, those times, Bob, I think that was when there was nobody open. He just had to throw it away.
Watch him again here. No problem that time. On the third down, Shazan Bradley gets Maddox. Loss of 8 yards. What a day for the sophomore quarterback.
And he's not getting up, Bob. As you see, the rush is just caving in. And again, this is one of the strongest pass rushes they'll see all year long. This Tennessee defense is going to do it to a lot of people. As we mentioned, Tommy Maddox is not getting up.
And as Terry Donahue mentioned to us last night, this is our guy. Maddox is the man. He is the star. He is the leader. Jim Bond's a senior who did start some at the beginning of last year, is the backup quarterback. But I'll tell you what, there's a huge drop-off in talent. Maddox gets off the field on his own, kind of ginger there with his left arm. Let's see what happened.
No, he's not got a lot of meat on him. He's built kind of like a basketball player in the sense that he's 6'4", 195 pounds, and he's taking a licking today.
Now, Kyler, here's a guy with some meat on it. Dale Carter back at his 22-yard line. Kyler's had Tennessee balls in his face all day on the punts. This time, Tennessee's going to cover the block for the return of Carter, who takes it at the 27, down to the 34-yard line. And the Volunteers will take over there. A punt of 34 yards. Well, Maddox went off the field, shaken up, the UCLA quarterback, and now Tennessee's star free safety Dale Carter is down on the field. He tried to walk off with the aid of the trainers, but he just was suffering too much pain and literally just collapsed down to the turf here. They were looking at his left knee. Penalty marker is going against Tennessee. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Dale Carter.
Daly had a hold of his leg and Carter over the top. This is one of the reasons that Maddox has not been thrown in the middle. You know, because that guy picked off 2 against Florida, 2 against Virginia, and they got him kind of settling down in that angle-in area.
Well, 2 future pro prospects are injured at the sideline now. Here's freshman Hayden driven out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Garrett Greedy made the stop for UCLA. Here's the story of the game. 3:26 remaining in the first half. Tennessee leading it 14-3, and Andy Kelly to Carl Pickens' first quarter touchdown. Then a blocked punt by Tennessee and a touchdown run of 1 yard by Stewart and a 25-yard field goal for UCLA. Second down now. Kelly has time to throw and does. It's complete to Mark Adams, the tight end. And here's Ron Thulin.
Well, Bob, an update on UCLA quarterback Tommy Maddox. He has taken a helmet into the shoulder. He has been in obvious pain. The doctors and the trainers have worked on that left shoulder. They say they're going to try to put him in for the remaining part of this half and see what happens. So it looks like Tommy Maddox is going to play.
Thanks, Ron. So perhaps more of a bruise than an actual injury. And there's Carter. You see they're working on his left leg.
They're feeling around the knee. That's a ligament attachment that the doctor's looking at there.
Third down, 15 Volunteers. Incomplete, intended for Pickens across the middle. The interceptions, look at this. Little mix-up in the backfield down around the 20. Nothing serious. No penalty markers. The intensity when these players were shaking up a couple of stars, all the other players seemed to pick up their intensity down there on the field. Brunson and Rod Smalley, a linebacker, were at it. Now they're looking at the right knee of Carter.
The reason they do that is that they're checking the sway in the ligaments, and usually it's pretty standard from one leg to the other. Sometimes one guy will have a lot more give.
Almost blocked the punt of Tommy Hutton. He got away another rocket shot. Fair catch by Chad LaRose back at the 15-yard line. That was a 61-yard punt. 3 60-yard punts today by Hutton. Coming up on the Aflac College Halftime Report, Ron Poulin will have scores from around the country. We'll listen to the University of Tennessee Pride of the Southland Band and take a look at volunteer head coach Johnny Majors and his stellar collegiate athletic career. Well, we're talking all-time career day for the freshman punter from Memphis. His longest coming into the day was 47 yards, and he's had 3 60-yard-plus punts. There's Maddox up and moving around and looks like he's able to play. Took a helmet to the shoulder. Here's Williams, running room. He has great acceleration, slips and falls about the 20. We understand that Dale Carter will be checked over more carefully at the half. May return. Slight sprain is the early call. And another player slow to get up. This is Williams.
Nice job of blocking by Mark Wilder. Opened up a hole for that young man there, Kevin Williams. And this has been the story of his career. As a running back, you have to take a lot of punishment. You know, there are a lot of people pointing their hats at you, and some of them are going to eventually find you. And so most running backs that I've ever known that developed any degree of competency played most of the time injured. The really great ones like O.J. Simpson or Gaston Green that lasted a long time, Walter Payton, were so elusive that you never got a real good shot at them, but they took a lot of hits. Because the first guy almost try to hold them up. The second guy comes in to punish him, wear him out.
Some other action around the SEC today. Alabama will be at Florida. League-wide action in the conference. We'll keep you posted on any of the scores as they come in today. Williams got up and got off the field on his own. Looks like he is okay. Second down, 4. We got Wills back in there. Wills was hit in the backfield by Chris Mims.
Mims out of Los Angeles, California, Southwest Junior College. That time they ran a game back on the weak side. The hole opened up, and he certainly came through it. Junior college All-American. And like I said, last year led the team in passes broken up. Just excellent instincts, getting his hands up in the air.
Third down, 5. Good end zone view of the splits on that offensive line, and the down 4 for Tennessee. Let us try to run at the same place with Davis this time. Short of the first down, out to the 24-yard line. Darrell Hardy made the stop for the Volunteers that time. Tennessee's defense has stifled UCLA all afternoon, and Tennessee's going to call a timeout. UCLA's passed for 33 yards, and they've only rushed for 55.
But that can change in a hurry, as we saw against BYU. Now, of course, I think Tennessee's defense is more effective than BYU, but they've got quick strike personnel in Richardson and LaChapelle, and any one of those 3 running backs. They can pop it through there. You saw it didn't take him much time to get on the board when they did.
Terry Donahue talked on several different occasions last night with our meeting with him about the heat and how it shocked him and the players when they got here. Of course, they've been here before. He's been here before, certainly, and he knew that it'd be hot and muggy here in the southeast, but he said he just had no idea the impact of the heat and humidity at practice yesterday, and it's something that concerned him about his football team. So we'll have to see how that affects this team in the second half. Kyler's going to punt it away. Tennessee's going to go for it again. They blocked one that turned into a touchdown.
Returning this one.
And the last time Pickens replaced Carter, he returned it 67 yards for a touchdown against Louisville. Nothing lost there. He gets to the 45-yard line. Robert Gamble takes him down. Pickens with a 13-yard punt return, a punt of 35 yards. Sunday evening on TNT, it's NFL action. The Los Angeles Rams coming up. So our buddy Skippy has to give up the Braves-Dodgers game to go to his football. I bet he has a monitor in the booth down in New Orleans.
Never been long-distance color done?
Maybe for the first time. It is complete to the far sideline to Vaughn Reeves and out of bounds with only 1:29 to go.
It's the same
first half.
Excuse me, Bob. That's the same pattern they ran the last time they had the football, and UCLA is playing much better pass defense into the sideline. They're running Pickens into the sideline about 20, and Reeves or Adams short across the field. What you want them to do is throw it to the tight end. Keep it away from Carl Pickens. He can hurt you in a hurry.
Second down, 7. Tennessee definitely in striking distance from here. Kelly to the right side. Is the first down to about the 36-yard line. Goes Von Reeves again. Carl Greenwood made the stop. There's Von Reeves. 2 good tight ends for Tennessee. 83 Adams is a senior, as is Von Reeves, and they're both solid and dependable.
And they've both been there for 3 years. They've been playing for 3 years. They've always done an excellent job. They're big guys. They haven't caught a lot of balls, but they're big people, and they do a great job of blocking the contained man on the defense, getting the run going that Tennessee has had going for the last several years. And they'll catch the ball when they need to.
Adams in there now for Reeves. This is third down, less than a yard. Try the right side. For the first down goes Tavio Henson. Minute 17 to go in the half. Tennessee leading at 14-3. Plenty of time for the Volunteers to put something else on the board. Kelly with plenty of protection today. Completes it to Faulkner at the 29-yard line. Malone makes the stop, and that's the 4th reception of the afternoon for Craig Faulkner.
Faulkner looks a little bit like a second baseman out there, you know, or a point guard on a high school basketball team as far as that goes. But it nifty feet and can find the open areas. The clock ticks down to 48.
He's just 5'11", 175. Kelly. Othello Henderson made the stop. That's like a pitcher with a changeup. You throw Faulkner, which is your slow curveball, and now the high hard one.
And you're going to see Adams breaking out short and Pickens over the top. And Gray's got to stay on the outside of that. He's seen that pattern and that time it opened up for Kelly and took it. Threw it short a couple of times. Finally took the one over the top.
First and goal from the 9. Greenwood was covering. Greenwood batted away a pass right at the end of the game in the victory UCLA had over BYU to save that ball game for the Bruins.
Excellent job by Greenwood. Right with him, going up in the air, working to get his head around. Nice job by Carl Greenwood. You can't play it any better than that.
Tennessee with an opportunity certainly to get something on the board here, save for a turnover with 36 seconds to go in the half. Face, and a penalty marker was down. You saw the crossing motion by Tennessee before the snap.
It wasn't supposed to look just like that, was it, John? Trying to get Pickens in motion. You got a couple of guys.
He says, no, James, me, James. Stop.
Says, see you later. James Malone making the decision for UCLA.
Illegal shift by the offense, 2 men moving at the snap. 5-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
Gives UCLA a little more defensive breathing room, but also gives the Tennessee wide receivers like Carl Pickens, for instance, more room to operate himself.
And every once in a while, that inexperience will stick its head up, and that was one of those times.
So second down and goal from the 14. Here's the draw to Aaron Hayden. Gets it inside the 10 to the 8. And there it'll be third down. And we have 22, 21, 20, and counting remaining in the first half here. So Tennessee will have an opportunity for one play here, perhaps stop the clock, and if they don't get it in the end zone, attempt the field goal. 10 seconds remaining in the half. Kelly had a man open, but Reeves couldn't get turned around to catch it. That'll stop the clock with 6 seconds to go, and Tennessee will come out here with Kevin Wendelboe and attempt a field goal, the barefoot kicker. Tennessee, usually with a strong kicking game, looking for help there this year. Joey Chapman was leading punter in the SEC last year, had a terrible spring. Tom Hutton, the freshman punter, came in and took that job. Chapman tried to kick field goals, didn't really look too good there either, so they brought in Bexford, a freshman, and Wendell Bowe, who's now a senior from North Carolina, and they're trying him. This will be a 25-yard attempt. And you see the problems they have. Wendell Bowe misses. And UCLA really dodged a big kind of bullet, because that, with 1 second remaining in the half, would have made it a 17-3 count and certainly made the halftime a lot longer for the Bruins. So Tennessee has to be disappointed with that possession.
Yeah, and a couple of big plays by UCLA defenders. That time Darby, the third down play, Darby was in Reeves' face, and Greenwood making a nice play on Pickens, kept him out of the end zone. And as you said, Bob, it could have been 7. And it wasn't even 3. So 14-3, they go in and reorganize. They take a look at what's happening, make an adjustment, and then go out after him in the second half. Get in the shade.
With 1 second, UCLA will run the ball for about 12 yards with Kevin Smith. That'll end the half. Tennessee leads it 14-3. So Tennessee scored on the Kelly to Pickens touchdown pass of 34 yards in the first quarter. Then Tennessee scored after a blocked punt. UCLA could come up only with a field goal. Let's go to Ron Thulin.
Johnny, first of all, the last drive, you had a chance to put points on the board. You came up empty. How does that disappoint you?
Well, certainly it disappoints me. You'd always like to score when you get down there. You don't want to miss a scoring opportunity. A narrow goalposts make a difference, but I'm very pleased the way our team's playing. I think they're playing very hard. The biggest problem we're having, we're making way too many mistakes. Our offense is young, and we're making way too many. Too many penalties. It's taken us out of field position 2 or 3 times. But I certainly like the effort. Hope we keep putting pressure on that quarterback. Those have been 3 big points.
All right, Johnny, go talk to your team at halftime. Johnny Majors, as his team will head to the locker room with that 14-3 lead. Still to come on TBS SEC Football, the Aflac College Halftime Report. We'll be back in a moment. The direction of Dr. W.J. Julian. Let's listen in.
Musical West Side Story in a new Tim Idol circle drill.
University of Tennessee pride of the Southland Band, wearing their 100% wool uniforms with a field temperature somewhere of above 117 degrees. Still to come on the Aflac College Halftime Report, we will have a feature on Johnny Majors, our Citgo SEC performer, plus halftime highlights of today's game. We'll be back to Knoxville, Tennessee in a moment.
If I had one...
Perfect fit. Johnny Majors in the University of Tennessee football. He has a lot in common with the hills and the valleys of the Volunteer State, and he has truly found another home here in Knoxville. There are few things more synonymous with Tennessee football than a sea of Tennessee orange in Neyland Stadium. And off and on for nearly 40 years and still going strong, Johnny Majors.
Only time will tell how long I'll be head coach at Tennessee. I have no plans to retire. I'm pretty doggone young. I feel as good as I did when I was 35. Stay active. I stay in condition. I work out regularly. I'm excited about coaching. I think as much as I was when I started when I was 22 years old at the University of Tennessee.
Born and raised in Huntland, Tennessee, Majors came to Knoxville in 1953, and number 45 was perfect for the single-wing attack. Even at only 154 pounds, he could run, he could pass, and he could punt. Rarely leaving the field, he even played outstanding defensive back. Majors was Heisman runner-up in 1956 to Paul Hornung and was eventually named to the National Football Foundation Hall of Fame. His coaching career began at Iowa State, followed by 4 years at Pittsburgh, capped off in 1976 with the national championship and Coach of the Year honors. Then it was back to Knoxville.
I didn't think we could do better, I wouldn't be here. And that's no reflection on anything in the past, because you've had some great football teams, you've had some outstanding coaches, and some outstanding players and accomplishments.
His love for the game and his players has provided 10 winning seasons in Knoxville and back-to-back SEC championships the last 2 seasons.
One of the most rewarding things in my profession is to teach a young man fundamentals. And I wouldn't swap it for anything in the world. Again, we've had some down times, but so many exciting times, so many rewards, seeing young men develop it, being around some championship teams as a player and coach through the years, and seeing some teams develop and seeing how they turn out later on in life is just a great profession. It's a great profession. My philosophy, I guess, is based on something my dad told me a long time ago. I know you boys like to play football, baseball, and basketball. I said, I'm not going to force you to do it. And he never did. But he'd always go out and hit ground balls with us and show us how to punt the ball, pivot in basketball. I'll tell you one thing. If you're going to play, I'm going to tell you this, you better do the best you can all the time. He says, never give up. And anybody I've ever been around that I liked and appreciated never gave up. And I appreciate the coaching I had because they taught us how to lay it on the line, and how to play hard and hustle hard. So the biggest factor is this. Just keep on keeping on, win, lose, or draw, and don't ever let up, and certainly don't give up when things aren't going well. I believe I'm a fighter, and I hope I die as a fighter.
One of the truly great coaches in all of college football, Johnny Majors, and right now his Tennessee Volunteers lead UCLA 14-3. Still to come on the Aflac College Halftime Report, our Citgo SEC great performer. That's still to come. Stay with us.
In Starkville going off the board, Tennessee's Tony Thompson sizzled across the Scott Field turf last September, taking no prisoners along the way. Second down 5. Tony Thompson, big hole right up the middle. At the 50, at the 30, Tony Thompson with an escort by Carl Pickens scores for Tennessee. Thompson would take a moment to catch his breath and return for more fireworks on the ball's next possession. Even in the sweltering heat, Thompson's bluff on a fake reverse would freeze the Bulldogs' defense. Kelly pitches to Thompson. Thompson fakes it, keeps it, takes the right side. Nice cut. Out to the 40, breaking a tackle inside the 50. Let's see if he can outrun Tony Harris. The answer is yes! Touchdown, Tennessee. 80 yards from Tony Thompson. Thompson's 248 rushing yards is the 3rd highest total ever for Tennessee and ranks him as one of the SEC's greatest performers.
Back in Knoxville, Tennessee, a very hot and humid Knoxville, Tennessee. Temperature upwards of 95 degrees. Here on the field, it is almost 120 degrees. But we are in Knoxville, where right now, University of Tennessee leads UCLA 14-3. And this has been the Aflac College Halftime Report.
Tennessee leading at 14-3 at halftime at Neyland Stadium. As Ron Thulin told you, it's hotter than 110 degrees down there on the turf, and it certainly will take its toll on both teams. And I know it's really taken a toll on us. We've been pumping that water down here at halftime. You said at the beginning of the game 2 or 3 things. You mentioned Carl Pickens and what he could do. You said special teams could have an effect, and certainly defense and pressure, and that's what the first half was about.
And we also said this, that if Maddox had time and if they could get the running game going a little bit, UCLA, get it going a little bit, then it'd be a long afternoon for Tennessee's defense. Well, they're averaging less than 3 yards a carry, UCLA is, and Maddox has no time. So they've kept the pressure on him. Pickens will hurt you eventually, but it's a 14-3 football game. This is a long way from being over.
You said Pickens could hurt you eventually. Well, it was sooner than eventually. This is first quarter, 34 yards.
Against Louisville, it was in the first series. Against UCLA, the second series, third down. Nails it in there over the top. Greenwood not in bad shape, but Pickens is a long rascal. He stretches out and makes the catch, 6 points.
Blocked punt, special teams, Darryl Hardy right up the middle.
And you know, Darryl Hardy, we've seen him over the years make a lot of big plays, and this is a big one here. UCLA then holds them out for 2 downs. I mean, they stiffen down here at the 2-yard line, thinking that they can force Tennessee into a field goal, but launch James Stewart. Wham, comes down. They can't do it. 6 points for Tennessee.
You talked about the pressure on Maddox. He's had it in his face all afternoon.
Yeah, we're going to show you something here that Tommy Maddox has seen more than he'd like. And this is not necessarily a poor job of protection by UCLA, but it is an excellent job of rushing by Tennessee.
So Tennessee leads 14-3. The first half statistics, you see that UCLA has 9 first downs. Tennessee has rushed for only 34 yards, but look at the tremendous difference in the yardage in the passing game, 133. And the Tennessee penalties kind of holding UCLA in this game, too.
Exactly. On that field goal drive, there was a roughing the passer that was a very important element for UCLA.
Sean Wills is the single deep back for Tennessee. That kickoff will go out of bounds, and there will be a penalty marker on that play. Now, new rules this year means you can either take the penalty, have him kick it off, or bring it out here and just spot it out at the 35-yard line, which is, I think, what I would do were they asking me. And that's what UCLA does. So they'll have pretty good field position because the kickoff went out of bounds. First half, UCLA punt, then they got the field goal. On that drive, UCLA got inside the Tennessee 5, and the Vols didn't let them into the end zone. Then the block punt, 3 other punts, and the half ended.
Just over 100 yards of offense for UCLA in the first half. Not something that they're happy with.
On the first down, 10, Maddox. Time to throw. And he completed it. However, Sean LaChapelle, who just made his first catch of the afternoon, was punished by Roderick Lewis on the reception.
It's going to be interesting to see what adjustments Homer Smith has made and Terry Donahue have made at halftime here. That was almost the first intermediate route that they'd thrown. They tried to throw some before, but there's been an excellent job of coverage by the Tennessee Volunteers. They've been all over that man right there, Sean LaChapelle.
Second down, 2. From the eye, the handoff goes to Williams. He gets the first down. Kevin Williams was shaken up in the first half, but seems to be okay now. Reggie Ingram makes the stop for Tennessee, number 41.
One of the most important ingredients of Tennessee's defense is the fact that they can get such good pressure with 4 rushers. With Mims and Smith on the outside, Bradley really developing into a somewhat of a star at tackle. There's a lot for any offensive line to worry about.
On the first down, Maddox, another completion, this time to Williams. Williams knocked forward for a gain of about 7. We noticed that Dale Carter is not in the Tennessee secondary to start the second half. David Bennett is playing there. Carter had a slight sprain to his left knee and is not starting the second half, the Tennessee star in the secondary.
And that makes a big difference because against Florida last year, he came up with a couple interceptions. Against Virginia, he came up with his biggest plays in the most important games. And he's an element that makes that defense really pop and bubble in the secondary.
On the second down 4, a slight draw here to Williams, gets about a yard, not much more. Tom Fuller comes up to make the play for the Volunteers. Tom Fuller.
Fuller fighting it out that time with Aaron Gideon on the line of scrimmage. battles going on all the time, all throughout that line. And, I mean, I think nobody appreciates that more than Terry Donahue. Isn't he too good looking to be a defensive lineman? He looks like a former quarterback or something.
Lindsey Nelson was stopped in the booth. He's a resident here at Tennessee now, retired great sportscaster. Said he televised the '66 Rose Bowl, which Terry Donahue played as a tackle. Michael Moore with the reception for the first down for UCLA.
And that's that sidearm delivery that you talked about. He just came with it that time. He pumped, and the reason he pulled it back, let's show you this coverage here. Comes across Miley, Fields drifting inside, and David Bennett trailing Moore. There's a lot of people to throw that ball between.
First down 10 inside Tennessee territory. Maddox leads it to Williams this time. Williams hit instantly, but Fields is dropped inside the 35.
It seems as though Homer Smith has said, okay, we can't run it in there. We're not going to try that anymore. We're going to throw some short turn routes to the backs. We're going to move the ball. We're going to try to keep our defense off the field more. Usually you see Terry, excuse me, Bob, you see him in one of those real fashionable sweaters. He didn't have it on today. He's sweating just like everybody else down there.
Second down, long 6. Let's call it second down 7 from the 35. Maddox had a man open for a second, J.J. Stokes, but double coverage converged. It goes incomplete.
That time Tennessee's defense coming after him. Blitzed him with 2 people and man-to-man coverage down here on the bottom. Jeremy Lincoln held up very well.
Maddox had 4 completions in a row. Then that incompletion, and now it is third down long yardage. Tennessee put the ears back and come after him now. See if they go into coverage. 3-man rush. Maddox with time. And the first down reception inside the 25 by Sean LaChapelle, who had no catches in the first half and 2 here on this opening second half drive. Remember, when the kickoff went out of bounds, they started this drive at the 35.
Jeremy Lincoln funneling to the inside. Dave Bennett starting to make a move on the ball. That's where Dale Carter would be. LaChapelle found an open area. Good fake by Maddox, too, that held the linebackers, kept them out of the picture.
Spotted at the 23-yard line, first down. 14-3, Tennessee leading. Opening drive of the second half by UCLA. They'll try to run it this time. With about the same success as in the first half, Sean Wills goes down at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a small gain. Mims with the stop for Tennessee.
Ernest Field coming up from his linebacker position. Mims pursuing from the inside. Fields and Scott Spaulding had a collision, and there was no hope.
Mims is a Los Angeles product. Said he never even thought about UCLA. They didn't think about him much, and he was a Southern Cal fan anyway.
Went by way of Southwest Junior College. Whoops.
Darrell Hardy came across Scott Spaulding for UCLA. Hardy was in the backfield way too much in the first half for UCLA's pleasure. But this time he'll have to pay a penalty for it.
Darrell, you got to point at them like they moved. Blame it on them.
They'll move it down to the 16.5-yard line. Well, Darrell Hardy blocked that punt that resulted in the Tennessee touchdown to make it 14-3 in the first half.
Led the team in big plays last year. Led the team in tackles in '89. He makes all the calls in the huddle, so an integral part of good things happening for the Tennessee defense.
Second down 4. Ricky Davis finds running room. Davis, excellent run to the 2.5-yard line. Jeremy Lincoln with the tackle. Maddox slow to get up, but he is up and moving back to the huddle now.
Good pull block there by Wilder, turns it upfield, and now Davis working back against the grain. Something that you don't see a whole lot of. Tennessee defensive backs missing tackles, but time Davis made him miss.
3 tight ends for UCLA. First down goal from the 2. denies Kevin Smith the end zone. He got right to the line. Ernest Fields made the hit.
You get 256 pounds going one way, it's hard to turn him. Good job by Fields. Coming over the top. Kevin Mays.
This ball is right on the goal line now.
Those UCLA guys, they know they're in Knoxville. They know they're going to have to get it in the orange for it to count.
Carter now the fullback. He gets the handoff. He tries it. He scores. 230-pound fullback Khalif Carter with the UCLA touchdown. And the cheers from the small crowd from the West Coast. They haven't had much to cheer about, but as you said, Tim, a successful drive and the 14-3 Tennessee lead all of a sudden shrinks.
Well, they've dominated defensively, Tennessee has, and UCLA just hasn't been able to get any momentum going on offense. Nothing has really worked, and they put it together on that drive. Both these teams with remarkable coaching staffs, and both will make excellent adjustments at halftime. From a Tennessee standpoint, Johnny Major said, well, I don't want to adjust anything. Let's just keep going the way we're going. Terry Donahue got in there and analyzed it.
Roderick Lewis being helped off the field for Tennessee. Remember, Dale Carter went out at free safety, hasn't returned, and now the strong safety, Roderick Lewis, is shaken up and helped off the field.
Now, Mark Fletcher is a starter that has played behind Roderick Lewis. If they got anything on defense at Tennessee, they got depth.
UCLA going for two. They went for two to tie Tennessee here at Neyland Stadium back in '85 with Gaston Green. Maddox floats it into the end zone, has LaChapelle incomplete, caught it out of bounds. So it remains at 14-9. Jeremy Lincoln covering on the play. Again, the thinking there, obviously, it would have been 14-10, still more than a field goal to tie. So not much damage when you miss it here.
Lincoln in good shape, not really up in bump and run, drives back out of there, turns on the ball. LaChapelle makes a nice catch, great concentration. That's what he's known for, soft hands, but he can't come down in bounds.
So it is 14-9, a successful 65-yard drive by the Bruins. The University of Tennessee press box. Tim and I are in here. This thing's bigger than our hotel. 14-9, Tennessee leads. This was the key play. Ricky Davis, the runner. You got Dominic Sandifer to kick off for UCLA. Short high kick. Comes down at the 22-yard line to Mose Phillips. He's the third-team fullback. He takes it out here to the 28-yard line, a return of 13 yards. 6 minutes, 2 seconds for UCLA to go.
UCLA looked very poised, very confident, looked like they knew what they were doing. In the first half, they looked a little disoriented. They just couldn't get anything through that Tennessee defensive pressure.
On the first down, the handoff goes to Aaron Hayden. He is hit at the line of scrimmage by Randy Cole.
Whenever you're playing a Terry Donahue coach team, you better not think it's over, because they have a tradition of coming back. They came back numerous times last year to turn victory from Bob, you say that. They won a lot of games from behind.
From the jaws of
that would have been good. That would have been good. Only I could talk.
The second down 10. Kelly, you think. You think. This is Faulkner out to the 41-yard line. First down, Tennessee. That's why we've been together so long. You think, I talk, it works for me.
Faulkner has been impressive. Yeah, I think that this guy's got enough quickness and agility to find the open area. Look at him. He just kind of drew in there and waited till he felt it was open and was able to pull away, accelerate away from the defensive back.
First down, Tennessee outside the 40, right at the 41-yard line. Andy Kelly gives it to Aaron Hayden. Hayden only about a yard this time. Remember, Stewart and Hayden, the two freshman running backs for Tennessee, both had more than 100 yards each in the game against Louisville Thursday night a week ago. There's some West Coasters. Second down, 8. Stewart now in at the tailback spot, 33, along with Mario Brunson, 44. Here's Stewart. UCLA stringing it out, playing some tougher defense. You mentioned UCLA's offense looked more poised. thus far here in the second half, their defense has looked very solid.
And Matt Darby does a fine job protecting the perimeter. I've seen him support it from the inside and from the outside, and he is just hard to get off his feet. And I'm sure will continue in the pattern that he has established at UCLA as a premier defensive back.
You know, he considered coming to Tennessee when he was recruited out of Virginia. 3rd down 9. Kelly. It is complete to Pickens for big first down reception. Inside UCLA territory, Othello Henderson covering. A gain of 18 yards on the play. Call him the go-to guy.
You just got to have help from your cornerback on this play. The cornerback has to get more depth. Got to drop back. He's sucked up on the tight end crossing. Reeves there. Let's watch John Fisher work here. He's been a 4-year starter at Tennessee. Nobody is squeezing through that hole.
First down at the 41 of UCLA. Kelly had good protection all day. Completes it to his tight end, Von Reeves. Moves it down near the first down stick. So UCLA with a 65-yard drive, and now Tennessee coming right back here. Tim, I expected a higher scoring game than it looked like the first half was going to be, but we may be up in the total numbers of 40s before this game's over.
That's a possibility, but you've got two real good defensive coordinators here and some talent on the field in defense, and so far both the defenses have kept the offense really establishing any rhythm.
2nd down 1. It is intercepted. Was intended for Pickens, and Othello Henderson dropped to his knees and picked it off at the 14-yard line. On the 2nd and 1, you'll often see the teams go for a big strike, big gainer, because they can come back on 3rd and get the first down, they think. This time, Othello Henderson makes the big play defensively. Tennessee leading at 14-9. UCLA stops the Vols' drive with the interception at the 14-yard line.
And here you see Carl Pickens out here on the outside. Reeves here. The pattern they've been running is this one. This time Pickens takes it to the inside. Doesn't really get his head around. Othello Henderson sits back.
The sideline. He will not return, obviously, in his street clothes. Strained his left knee. Will be out for the remainder of this game. The exact nature of the injury and just how serious it is yet to be found, but Tennessee hurting in the backfield. UCLA came into the game after losing their starting cornerback, Dion Lambert, and a backup safety, and now Tennessee's had a couple of players shaken up. Carter and Roderick Lewis went off on the last series. Maddox, more time to throw, missed his receiver. Streaking down the sideline was running back Ricky Davis.
They tried to get Ricky Davis hooked up with a linebacker man-to-man and just run him deep.
Going to be a penalty against the Bruins. Johnny Majors, 15 years at the University of Tennessee. 1956 Heisman Trophy runner-up, saying we will decline this penalty.
Illegal procedure for the offense. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Talked about his dad's accomplishments yesterday in the office with pride. Shirley Majors and Johnny Majors, probably the only father-son combination to ever both receive Coach of the Year honors.
Certainly none others that I can think of. Neither could Johnny. Watch his eyes glow when he talks about his dad, Shirley Majors. 2nd down 10. They're going to run right side. Davis following the blocker well out across the 20 to the 23. Roderick Lewis makes the stop. So even though he was shaken up earlier, number 5 for Tennessee, see him getting up a little slow here, is okay and back in there.
And this is just, you can do this from the shotgun or from a regular formation. You see Scott Spalding coming around the corner there. They just running the sweep. That time it was an outside trap. They were trying to take it outside and had some success.
3rd down at the 23-yard line. No success that time. Just a big pile of orange jerseys on top of Sean Wills.
And I'll tell you who shut that off is Casey Rogers. He's from his defensive end position. He just dove and threw his body down to the inside. You see him there, number 99, Casey Rogers. Just a hustler. He alternates with Mims in there, and he just shut that play off. Those linemen had no place to turn up. Just a great play by Casey Rogers.
Just short of the first down. UCLA certainly not in position. They want to gamble down here. So they're going to bring in Courtney Kyler. Courtney's having such a tough time punting. It's sort of a gamble right here. Tennessee's blocked one already. Pickens is back just inside the Tennessee 40. Bad punt. Going to take the good UCLA bounce, though, and this actually may prove to be very effective. And out of bounds inside the 30 to the 30, make it the 28-yard line, and that kept it out of the hands of Pickens. The Vols lead it 14-9. They'll take over there. Chase Phillips Petroleum leaderboard. The SEC championships, most won by Alabama with 19, but Tennessee's right in there. 11, Georgia 10, LSU, and Ole Miss with 6, certainly back from the glory years of the 50s for the Rebels. And we're at Neyland Stadium, where they have the third largest crowd in UT history today, 97,117. The Vols leading at 14-9, 4:20 to go in the third quarter. It's Tennessee ball, first down 10 at the 28-yard line. And we're learning some more information about why Dale Carter is not in the ball game, and apparently it doesn't have everything to do with the fact that he strained his left knee, and we'll get that information to you in a moment. Pickens, first down reception at the 40. Gain of 13.
The time Pickens came in, worked inside the jam, and fellow Henderson made a break on the ball, and Kelly knifed it in there. Good catch by Pickens, who would rather catch the ball going to the outside. I just get that feeling. Of course, if I was a wide receiver, I'd rather do that too. They can't punish you out there.
On the first down, Kelly looks right, throws left, complete to Mark Adams, the tight end, near midfield. Gain of about 9. Arnold Ale, the right inside linebacker, makes the stop. They'll spot it right on the 50-yard line. Tennessee leading at 14-9 with 3:39 to go in the third quarter.
Ale was an interesting story for UCLA. Played as a true freshman in 12 games for Notre Dame. And I guess just experienced winter in South Bend and wanted to come back to California.
Second down and 1. Kelly play fakes and rolls. Has some time, and it is complete to the 40-yard line to Ronald Davis, number 1, for a first down Tennessee. And here's Ron Thulin.
Bob, updating the Dale Carter story, he has indeed been ejected from the ball game for throwing a punch. At first it was thought it was a sprained knee. That's not the case. He threw a punch. The officials tossed him. Bob and Tim.
The question, Ron, we did receive word that he did also sprain his knee. That was announced in the press box. Did he or did he not? Do we know?
Well, Bob, the team doctor said there is nothing wrong with his knee. So that's his official explanation.
We'll go with that word. First down 10 from the 39. This time to the 30, this time to Von Reeves. Nevertheless, Tennessee does lose their star safety, Dale Carter, for the game.
It's a lot more difficult to play pass defense right now in UCLA's secondary because they're just not getting the kind of pressure that the Tennessee defenders are getting.
Second down, less than a yard, just outside the 30. This time, Hayden to the 18-yard line. The quick feet of the freshman running back from Mumford High School in Detroit, Michigan. Gain of 12.
Works that left side of the Tennessee line and nice through there. Looks for the cutback. The fellow Henderson misses. Rod Smalley hustling back to bring him down. Henderson is on the ground, slow to get up.
Othello Henderson, the man replacing the departed All-American Eric Turner, who went into the NFL at free safety from UCLA last year. Henderson, another one of the Texas products. Let's see how he looks here. They got him up. Looks like he's all right. I'm sure they're breathing a sigh of relief on the UCLA sideline. Next Saturday, Tim and I will be right back here in Knoxville. I think we'll just pitch a tent here in the press box. Jackie Sherrill's Mississippi State Bulldogs will play their first road game of the 1991 season against the Vols. And depending on their success against Tulane today, the Bulldogs could be 3-0 coming into that game. The action begins at 12:30 Eastern next Saturday on your home of SEC football, TBS. First down, Vols. Kelly, quick toss out here to the left side to Faulkner.
I was wondering when they were going to do that. They're bringing the weak safety over and putting him on the slot, and the weak safety is playing about 12 yards off the line of scrimmage. And they had that look the whole first half, and you can't show that stuff to Phil Fulmer too long before he's going to try to take advantage of that. They give you different looks, but in that particular look, the free safety was off the ball about 12 yards.
It's been a quick third quarter, only a minute 25 remaining as Tennessee under pressure. Kelly threw it right at the feet. Intelligent incompletion on the part of Kelly of Tavio Henderson. The quarterback pressure came from number 41, Stacy Argo.
Stacy's been a linebacker for a couple of years, a converted running back who led the inside linebackers and tackles last year. Had a screen on, and nobody was really responsible for picking him up here. Might have been the fullback. Tennessee loves the screen and draw down here. Throw it to the outside, guys. They'll throw the fade.
3rd and 9. 4 wideouts in there for Tennessee. Volunteers call a timeout. Kelly comes over to the sideline. Minute 21 to go in the third. Tennessee knocking at the door. Tennessee will have it 3rd down 9 here at the 17.
Last time in this situation they were down here, Bob, they tried to get Pickens moving. They didn't want UCLA to be able to set up double coverage on him. Let's see what happens here.
3 wideouts to the right side. Pickens in the slot. Kelly going to Pickens. Nice grab. And he goes down at the 13-yard line.
Nice job by Collier. He fought his way through traffic to get there. Good tackle. Let's watch this here. Now, Faulkner isn't trying to intentionally get in number 10's way, but that's pretty good unintentionally getting in his way. Collier fights through it, makes the tackle. Good job. Force a field goal attempt here.
By Kevin Wendelboe, the barefoot senior kicker. He missed his first one. Again, tough angle here. Narrow goalpost, 18 feet 6 inches this year. Hits this one. 28-yard field goal makes it Tennessee 17, UCLA 9, with 34 seconds remaining in the third quarter. So Johnny Majors does come back to answer the touchdown from UCLA with the field goal.
Both of these coaches are used to winning, but in the recent past, both of them have had difficulty at times. And in '88, Majors went 0-6. Had to fight back to win the last 5 games of the season. Donahue the last 2 years, 3-7, 5-6. But he likes, as we talked to him last night, he said this team's going in the right direction. Got a good attitude, a lot of cooperation. And every team's got some problem childs and some good folks. And he said that this team here is really on the right track, on the way back.
You were looking there at the crowd. 91,902 is the capacity, but there's 97,117 in here. It's the 5th largest city in Tennessee on Saturday afternoon.
You know, and it doesn't matter if it's UCLA or Slippery Rock. I mean, they're here. They're coming on Saturday, you know, when the Vols are in town. Now, they're a little bit more rowdy when it's UCLA, obviously. A lot more up, just like the players are. Anybody would be.
Sean Wills, the deep back for Tennessee. Joey Chapman to kick off, or deep back for UCLA. Chapman to kick off for Tennessee. Nails it. Johnny Majors said he was very disappointed that Chapman, who has this strong leg, did not get the ball into the end zone successfully on kickoffs against Louisville. Well, he must have heard the coach's complaints. Nice kickoff there. No return. 61 yards, 8 plays for Tennessee, and 3:45, and Wendelboe gets the 28-yard field goal.
And a good mix in there of the run and the pass. They made it both work. They made them both work, and now UCLA comes back for another crack.
There's a good look at the comparison of Maddox and Kelly. You know, Kelly's one of the nominees. You look at Maddox now. Kelly's one of the nominees of 12 nominees for the Senior Quarterback of the Year award called the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. Once again, the penetration right back there was Chris Mims. He knocked the ball right off the hand of Tommy Maddox. Mims is 6'6", remember.
And we told you before that last year he led Tennessee's defense in passes broken up. Look at him carry that offensive lineman. Look at the height that he gets. He was also a basketball player at Southwest Junior College. Fine job.
2nd down 10 from the 20. UCLA trailing 17 to 9. Carter and Williams in the backfield out of the eye. Williams left side. Finds a crack. Dives out to about the 28. Line to go is the 30, and you see only 17, 16, and counting seconds left in the 3rd quarter. May not get a playoff here before the quarter will end. That's Paul Richardson entering the game with the play for the Bruins. They'll never get this play off. At the end of 3 quarters, it's going to be Tennessee 17, UCLA 9. And when we come back, 3rd down 3 for the Bruins from their 27-yard line. I guess that's old Rocky Top back there in the background, foothill to the Smoky Mountains, Tennessee River. Tennessee leading at 17 to 9. Both quarterbacks got untracked in the 3rd quarter.
Kelly 9 out of 10 in his drive. Maddox 5 out of 8. Both of them seem to have found something that they're going to exploit, at least for the next few plays.
Well, this crowd's exploiting the fact that there are 97,000 of them here. The noise starting to become a factor, even though Terry Donahue said that he didn't think that'd be a problem for his team. They play at the Rose Bowl and Husky Stadium in Washington. 3rd quarter stats. Look at the passing yards. Tennessee 221, only 73 for UCLA so far today. 3rd down 3. Listen to this noise. You got to think the noise caused that. The left tackle, Craig Nowitzki, lifted up that arm after they had come set. Yeah, there's a lot of people. There's the 5-yard penalty call. There are a lot of people at the Rose Bowl. They'll seat 100,000 in there, and there are a lot of big stadiums. But I don't know if they're any louder than here in Knoxville, in the country.
Terry Donahue asking for an explanation. That wasn't the crowd noise. Kelly got him to jump that time.
Well, the crowd thinks it was. And they're back into it again. Now 3rd down 8. Picked off. That's Tracy Smith. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Back here, Bob. Tracy Smith trailing Chappelle. The middle of the field was open. Makes a nice move on the ball. And heading upfield. Jonesboro, Arkansas, converted running back. How'd you like that, Bob? Throwing just a little bit behind LaChapelle.
And the point after is missed. So it's 23 to 9. That was early here in the 3rd quarter.
Let's rephrase that. Jonesboro, Georgia. Trailing them on the inside. Cuts underneath, ball thrown a little bit behind LaChapelle. Maddox trying to keep it away from the free safety. And he takes it all the way home. Not what he wanted to see at this particular point in time.
Remember,
Tennessee leading at 23-9. They missed the extra point after Tracy Smith intercepted it, took it into the end zone. The Tennessee kickoff. Chapman really nailing it now. In and out of the end zone. The UCLA will bring it out to the 20, trailing 23-9. Tim, Tracy Smith, another one of those guys at Tennessee who's played during his time here both ways.
He's played both ways. Whenever they were weak someplace, they try to take some guys with some talent and try to train him and see what pops up. Obviously, they brought him back to defense, but he had been working as a running back, and he worked some as a wide receiver. The work at wide receiver paid off.
That was a heck of a run back on the interception. Maddox under pressure. Gets it away out across the 20 for a gain of about a yard to number 20, Kevin Williams. Floyd Miley with the stop. This Tennessee defense playing with great intensity here after slackening just a bit at the opening of the third quarter.
You know, and Mims once again had his arms wrapped around Tommy Maddox. Maddox is a guy that's thrown some interceptions, but he's brought his team from behind on numerous occasions, has a lot of confidence, and this crowd has come to life.
On the 2nd down 8. His arm was hit as he threw it. Incomplete at the 43-yard line. Jeremy Lincoln almost grabbed another interception. Todd Kelly came in and I think hit the arm of Tommy Maddox.
Here comes Kelly around the horn, yanks him to the ground as the ball is released. Jeremy Lincoln there goes up, great position, just can't hold on to the football.
14 minutes to go in the game.
But that's a perfect example of undercover help on a deep route like that. That's what you got to get from your corner. Make the ball be thrown up in the air like that. Make him get altitude on it. Of course, Maddox is being dragged down to the ground. That's what got altitude on that ball.
3rd down 8. Pressure and down at the 10. Todd Kelly got the pressure previously and this time gets the sack. He's a defensive end, a junior from Hampton, Virginia.
Tennessee's had good coverage, but that's not the story on that particular 3 plays. It's pressure, big-time pressure. And again, this is as stiff a pressure as UCLA will face all year long. Now our friend is in the end zone.
Courtney Kyler not having a real nice day. No pressure. That's the punt out of there. Pretty good. Pickens is going to have to let it roll. He's going to actually get good distance on this as Courtney Kyler, who had one blocked earlier, gets away. A boomer gets the good bounce, keeps it away from Pickens. A punt of 57 yards. You've heard the enthusiasm by this Tennessee crowd. It's been dampened around here in Knoxville a little bit from the NCAA investigation, the allegations that Tennessee improperly administered a football camp and also violated some other recruiting rules. And we asked Johnny Majors what he felt about that and when he thought something might happen.
Well, we appeared before the NCAA at a hearing, and I can tell you this, we bust our gut and we make every effort to do things perfectly. And time will tell how this turns out. I'm certainly not pessimistic, but I don't have the crystal ball to see what will happen. But as long as I coach football, I'll make every effort to be exactly right and abide by the rules because we have a good tradition in Tennessee in that.
They're expecting to hear something within the next 10 days or so. On the 1st down 10 from the 32-yard line. Kelly, good time. It's tight end, Mark Adams. Adams and Reeves have been very active pass receivers today. 3 catches for Adams, and Reeves has 4.
I think they'll continue to throw that pattern back into the sideline. They're running Pickens down and out at about 18, and they'll run Reeves over at about 5. If the corner sinks back to help on Pickens, they throw it to Reeves, and he's got 7 or 8. If he sucks up on Reeves, it's in over the top to Pickens for 15.
That was Aaron Hayden knocked down the backfield short, and well, he got a little yardage, I guess, short of the 1st down. It'll bring up 3rd down short yardage. Mike Chalinsky, number 98, made the stop. He's a transfer from University of Pittsburgh to UCLA.
And some say he might be the best defensive lineman in the Pac-10. You know, he had problems with his shoulder, and it really limited his effectiveness last year, but they've got that all taken care of. Hard-working guy with all the skills.
3rd down and 1. Tennessee in the power formation. Hayden stretches it out there. Let's see if they give him the placement of the ball. If they do, it'll be a 1st down. It's going to be close. May have to measure. University of Tennessee leading 23-9, 11th ranked in the country coming into today's game. UCLA ranked at 21 after beating BYU in their opening. There are those who think the Pac-10 is the strongest conference in America this year. The SEC is ranked by one of the publications, a weekly football publication, as the 2nd best, with the Big Ten being 3rd. I'm not sure. I do know the Pac-10, Tim, this year does have several teams that have come in there to be good, like Washington, California, UCLA, Arizona State.
There's a volunteer schedule, and they got a load this time. Johnny Majors, we asked him if he worried about the probation, worried about the schedule, and John quoted the Bible. He says, "Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof." So let's not worry about that. We got to think about UCLA. So we'll talk about the schedule one at a time.
Tennessee doesn't get the 1st down. Hutton comes in to punt. Not a very good one. LaRose calls for the fair catch at the 26. Plenty of time in the game. 11:22 to go. Tennessee 23, UCLA 9. 11:22 to go in the game with Tennessee out in front. 23-9. UCLA still huddling on the sideline. Now back in here. They have decent field position after that punt at the 26-yard line. At least they're not pinned up inside the 20. And you see just a visual example of what the heat is doing to the bodies of these California football players. And it certainly probably affects their mind a little bit. Over 100 degrees down on the turf today. Maddox hits a screen. It's developed pretty well. Very well. Kevin Williams. Nobody will catch him. Oh, they set that up beautifully. A touchdown screen pass to Kevin Williams for 74 yards. That quietened this 97,000 crowd here.
It sure did. I was watching La Chapelle on that one, and he was kind of cutting across and then kind of eased up and tried to, do like a receiver block on a couple of people. All of a sudden, whew, Williams went flashing by. And what's this? Great
point after attempt by Perez. He's missed them before. Doesn't miss this one. And it is 24-16. UCLA back in this game with 11:06 to go. And by the way, our West Coast viewers, you're happier now, I know, and it's also afternoon. Good afternoon. Still, this last play, Maddox had 74 yards in the air all day. He matches it on one throw to his running back, Kevin Williams.
Let's look at it here.
High kickoff from UCLA. Comes down to the 10 to J.J. McCleskey. McCleskey down at the 24-yard line. Remember now, when Tennessee scored on the interception, everybody was so excited. Most people in the stands didn't even notice that they missed the point after. UCLA had gone for 2 earlier, so there was an 8-point spread. But with that missed point after and UCLA's failed 2-point attempt, it is now a 7-point difference in this ball game. We talk about the heat. There it is. Was it 118?
Yes, well, and that's got to be affecting UCLA more than it is Tennessee. Tennessee's used to this. UCLA is used to heat, but the humidity is what's killing them. Ron, you have a humidity gauge on that thermometer down there? Temperature gauge?
On the 1st down 10, this time a little bit of return favor. Garrett Greedy back in the face of Andy Kelly, batting it down. You see the UCLA contingent. It's kind of funny here. They're 97,000 at Neyland Stadium today. There's a little corner down on near the field on one end of the side of the stands, and then a little corner up in the top. You see all the orange?
Yeah. Just barely inside.
Tom Smith, our director, giving us the color symbols there for you. Andy Kelly, no setbacks on 2nd down 10. And pressure. Kelly chased out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
one of the things that Terry Donahue talked about, I asked him, I said, what happened? You know, you had so many good years and all of a sudden 3 and 7. And he said, without us, there's a lot of things that happen. There's a lot of factors. It's never just one thing. But one of the things was that we lost our speed on defense. All of a sudden we looked up. We lost a lot of guys to the NFL. And then the players we had there just didn't have the speed. And so they feel like they've done a good job refortifying that area of their football team.
Well, all of a sudden, Tennessee's got something to be concerned about. They lead by 7. This is 3rd down 9. Kelly, good protection. It is complete, and that should be enough for the first down to J.J. McCleskey. Just barely, but it counts. 10-yard gain. First down, Tennessee.
Time Bob Field, defensive coordinator at UCLA, had him playing man-to-man on the wide side, giving extra attention to Pickens. He didn't want to get hurt by Pickens again. Faulkner was running a deep corner, and he laid it right in there to McCleskey.
10:24 to go in the game. First down, Tennessee at the 35, leading by 7. Kelly, quick toss out here to Davis. Speed merchant broke the tackle. Now is driven out inside UCLA territory at the 47.5-yard line. Ronald Davis is just a freshman. He's one of the people that Johnny Majors and his staff are looking for to step up. Freshman from Bartlett, Tennessee.
He hurt his knee last year against Memphis State. Spent all year in rehabilitation and still trying to learn the routes, still trying to learn the adjustments. But that one's not too tough. Take a step, we'll hit you with the ball, then scoot.
For the first down, Tennessee. Kelly has thrown the ball 32 times today for 257 yards. Nothing happening there. Kelly's going to have to keep it and take a little bit of punishment at the 45-yard line. By the way, that last completion of Kelly puts him 2nd on Tennessee's all-time list with 318 completions, passing Alan Cockrell back in the early 80s. There's the Kelly file. We talk about Maddox, who looks like a star in the making, but Kelly already is.
Yes, he is, and he's got great talent to go along with him, has had in the past. He took over the reins of this team against Alabama a couple of years ago and just has not relinquished it.
2nd down 8. Some running room on the right side. Not very much. It closed quickly for Aaron Hayden. Marvin Goodwin came up to make the play. There's a Johnny Majors really likes his true freshman that he's got in here to hopefully replace Kelly someday by the name of Heath Schuler from North Carolina, Tim.
Yeah, he talked about him. Did you see his eyes started to glow a little bit more when he started talking about him?
What do you think of Heath Schuler, your freshman? Oh, you know, but yeah, the eyes told the story. 3rd down 6. Kelly pitches to Hayden. Hayden, it popped loose, but it was caused by the turf. First down carry as they spotted it about the 37-yard line.
That's the play they were trying to get to the last time. Last time they came out in this formation, they were trying to get to this, but there was a mess up in the background. Adams leading the way. Tosses it back to Hayden, trying to create that one-on-one back into the sideline. Give that talented young back an opportunity to beat somebody and go a long way.
Tennessee doing what they like to do, and that's keep the ball, move toward the UCLA goal, and eat up the clock. That's complete to Faulkner. He's out of bounds at the 32, or at the 22. Out of bounds at the 22. Penalty marker against UCLA. I think they hit him out of bounds down there. See him talking to Carlton Gray, so it'll be a gain of 14.
It wasn't so much that he was out of bounds, but Carlton gave him the old forearm lasso. Man-to-man on the strong side there. Othello Henderson's just got to get closer to Faulkner. He makes a valiant effort, gets him out of bounds. Faulkner continues to truck on down. This is kind of fun. Nobody's going to hit me. Let me pretend like I didn't go out of bounds, and boing.
Oh, that's the hammer, all right.
That's a Freddie Williamson shot. This guy's trying out for the Oakland Raiders.
This was wrestling, they'd say. That had to hurt. UCLA. They moved it down to the 12. First down, Tennessee. 8:15 to go in the game.
Terry Donahue on the field, arguing with the official.
Sportsmanlike conduct foul against the defense. Pass the defense. First down.
Actually, they moved it even further to make it half the distance, and they'll spot it at the 7-yard line.
And Terry Donahue is one of the calmest men in football. And he is obviously upset. He's upset with some of the performance of the team. He's upset with the call and trying to do anything he can to rile them up. And called it.
Stewart. Big, tough running back, but he can't get by 5 UCLA defenders. Down at the 5. Othello Henderson first to hit him. Garrett Greedy came over there and cleaned up on him. Everybody slow to get up at this point in this game. You saw the thermometer. And by the way, that's not an exaggeration. That is the temperature down there on the field. It's nearly 120. UCLA player down. 2 or 3 of them were slow to get up.
It's hard to say enough about Terry Donahue. 83 of his players have been drafted by the NFL. There's only one coach in the Pac-10 that has won more games than he has, and that's Don James at Washington. Only coach ever to win 7 consecutive bowl games as Henderson is back on his feet. Looks like he's fine.
Dodgers out in front of the Braves 2-0. Rain delay in Atlanta in the first inning. Cal Daniels with a 2-run double for the Dodgers. Braves baseball will continue tomorrow here on TBS. Time for Tennessee. McCluskey, touchdown! The end around Tennessee. Sure dampened the spirit of UCLA. They came back and got the 74-yard touchdown bomb, and Tennessee just came back and hammered it right down the field for the touchdown. 29-16, 7:44 to go in the ball game. So McCluskey just came around from the right side. They faked Aaron Hayden in there, and UCLA went for it, as everybody would expect. Here's the point after attempt. This one is good. And that was Joey Chapman, as Johnny Majors keeps looking for a kicker who can be consistent.
Well, you know the defense is going to be aggressive here in this situation, and here's the guy that makes the block. They're going to run him coming this way. McCluskey into the end zone for a touchdown. Good block by the offensive right guard. Lead away around there. That's 55. That's Patterson. Great job. JJ scores.
You see how hot it is. They've decked their coats at Tennessee.
Once again,
Tennessee leads at 30-16. Sean Wills is back deep. Chapman. This one will probably be for play, but he'll touch it back, and they'll bring it out to the 20. No time off the clock. 7:44 to go. Tennessee moves out in front now by 14 points. 75 yards in 10 plays. Nearly 3.5 minutes, and McCluskey took it on the end around on the 4-yard touchdown run.
And actually what Tennessee did is they went to work away from Pickens. UCLA set up defensively. They needed help on Pickens. They had trouble then on the strong side, to the wide side of the field, the 2 receiver side of the field.
From the 20, first down, 10. Maddox, 13 of 26 for 148 yards today. A little more time to throw. 6, 7, 8 yards on that reception by Sean LaChapelle out near the 30-yard line to the 28. 7:33 as the clock ticks down. You know, UCLA can score quickly, as we saw in that 74-yard strike before. Last week, 4 of the UCLA TDs versus BYU came from outside 60 yards, and all were under 4 minutes. They can strike quickly, as you saw. Handoff to Wills. Can he turn the corner? No, he just ran it straight into the stands. He loses a yard or two on that play. Stop the clock at 7:07. UCLA does have all 3 timeouts remaining. Tennessee 2.
Well, we certainly saw him score quickly here this afternoon. Give it to Williams. It doesn't take him long to run 70 yards unless he gets some people in his way. Big pressure from this Tennessee defense. So pass rush has been the name of the game here this afternoon. A lot of it for Tennessee, not a lot of it for UCLA.
3rd down 4 for Maddox out of the drop back. Short of the 1st down goes Kevin Williams. They'll lock him down about the 29-yard line. By the way, we've learned why they moved the penalty even closer to the UCLA goal line down there after the unsportsmanlike call against UCLA. The heated argument from their head coach Terry Donahue drew another penalty, and that's why they got the half the distance. So Terry Donahue himself was penalized. UCLA had 2 half the distance penalties last time. That's why Tennessee had it so close to the goal line.
And I thought that was what happened, but I certainly wanted to be clear on that. I bet that's the first one that Terry's ever gotten.
Kyler into the hands of Pickens at the 35. Not too wise a move there, but there's the confidence of Carl Pickens. He said, yeah, you're all down here. I'm surrounded. I can still outrun all of you. 91 Jason Green made the stop at the ball at the 32.
Returning punts can be a lonely job. I'm not sure if that hit was applied to Pickens or one of those guys that was trying to tackle him. I think I saw a lineman come back in there and clean up on somebody, but Pickens can do it all. We've seen him intercept passes. We've seen him catch long bombs. Have we seen him throw any touchdown passes yet?
Well, why not? Let's try one. 1st down, 10, Tennessee. 6:08 to go in the ball game. Aaron Hayden, nowhere to go.
I think that's another thing that a young man has to learn as a true freshman in high school. He can make that run to the corner and outrun about anybody if he's got a lot of talent. All of a sudden, he tries to leave people in behind here. You're going to find out they can run right with him.
And they're twice as big as he is. Hayden's from Mumford High in Detroit. He's probably going to be a star. They really like him. 6 feet, 200 pounds. So is James Stewart from Morristown, Tennessee. They're 2 true freshman tailbacks at Tennessee. 2nd down and 14 for Kelly. Complete to Adams out to the 33-yard line. And here's Ron Thurston.
Bob, as you and Tim know, Tennessee has some of the most avid fans in all of college football. How about this guy next to me? He came from Italy to be here today. David Keith, you've seen him in Officer or a Gentleman. Right now he's working for me, but David, you have a new series on NBC, but the fact is you're the ultimate Tennessee fan.
Yeah, I'm doing Flesh and Blood in California. I fly back on a red eye every Friday night to get here for the games, and now they have a rule I can't be on the sidelines with the team anymore, so I'm working for TBS. I kind of like it.
All right, David Keith, get back to work. I need some water.
Out of my friends in UCLA.
There goes our Rays. They hired David Keith. That guy was picked up. That's number 3, Carlton Gray. Trying to pick his way forward. They'll get him at the 40-yard line. 4:41 to go in the ball game, and UCLA just won't give up the ghost. So that's the 3rd interception of the day for Kelly and the 5th in this young season.
Now you talk about getting depth at quarter. You see where Gray was sitting next to Fleming, but then came off. He was in a position to make the play on the deeper out pattern to Pickens, and experienced play by Carlton Gray.
On the 1st down, the play fake, the short toss, that's Kevin Smith. Down inside the 35 to the 33. It's a 14-point spread right now. Tennessee leading with 4:29 to go in the ball game. But UCLA trying to get it in the end zone quickly. Still time for this pass-happy Tommy Maddox to move the team. to the 11-yard line goes Michael Moore. That'll stop the clock and time to move the sticks.
Great throw. That was Jeremy Lincoln standing right next to him. I didn't think he was going to be able to stick this one in here. You're getting to the time in the game where you have to take some chances. Look at that. What a super throw. Good catch by Michael Moore, and here we go on the 12-yard line. First and 10.
You betcha. Out of the shotgun. Fade into the end zone. Is it an interception? No, it's incomplete, even though it ended in the hands of Jeremy Lincoln. He came down out of bounds, so he does not get the interception. UCLA stays alive.
And another fine job by this time a fine job by Jeremy Lincoln. I'm never quite certain why little itty-bitty defensive backs will go up and stand next to a big wide receiver and then try to run down the field with him. Lincoln wasn't right in his face. He was off a little bit, was able to backpedal and then get good vision on the ball. You see that? Goes up. Makes an excellent attempt at the ball, to bring that ball down in bounds.
Second down 10 from the 12. Short hops it. Incomplete. Third down. Intended for Paul Richardson. We were talking about Maddox's ability to lead this team from behind. Last year in the fourth quarter versus Stanford, he went 9 for 9, 175 yards and a TD in a 32-31 comeback wins. He can get hot.
They kicked the winning field goal with 1 second left in the game.
This is a big one here, third down 10. They're in obviously 4-down situation at this point in the game, trailing by 14. It is complete, short of the first down, I think. Remember, it was 1st and 10 from the 12. Let's see where they spot the forward progress of Sean LaChapelle.
Takes that step to the left just to try to draw the linebacker a step. LaChapelle turns in. Let's watch him work here. From the split end position, Lincoln backing off, has help inside. Before Bennett can get there, Maddox delivers the ball.
So yards short of the first down, 4th down, and 1.5 for the first down, and 2.5 for the touchdown. And we've got a timeout down on the field. That'll stop the clock with 3:03. And this ball game for UCLA is down to this play. 16, 3:03 to go in the ball game. 4th down and 1.5 yards for the first down. 3.5 for the touchdown for the Bruins of UCLA.
They came with an option against BYU, but they're certainly not in that formation now.
Maddox, tremendous pressure, got it away. Almost, but not quite. Intended for Paul Richardson. The last bullet in the UCLA gun misfires. That was amazing. He was under tremendous pressure, and watch the velocity.
Well, he wants LaChapelle. Fuller's in his face. He really has no shot at it. Tries to get it back to Richardson. Good coverage by the Tennessee corners. You see LaChapelle and Richardson are across. That ball is supposed to be delivered earlier than that, obviously, but Fuller was right up the middle. He made a great adjustment. Richardson could have made that catch. Short-armed it a little bit. Fantastic adjustment by Matt. Look at that quickness, and look what he got on a ball.
Tennessee now content to just run it up the middle to Aaron Hayden out across the 5-yard line with 2:50 to go in the ball game, and UCLA with 2 timeouts, but down by 14 points now. They needed that one before the timeouts really became significant. And they're going to stop the clock.
So you don't have to play excellent pass defense if you got great pressure. I mean, you can take chances, and you can let the receiver separate from you a little bit if you've got the kind of pressure that Tommy Maddox has been dealing with all afternoon from this Tennessee front line. And again, it's not a deficiency on the UCLA's offensive line part. You know, they'd like to do a better job, but this could be the best pass rush in the nation.
4 sacks today, 7 last week against UCLA, so that's 11 in 2 games. And Andy Kelly's had himself a whale of a day. 275 yards, 25 of 35, 1 TD. He has thrown 3 interceptions to give him 5 on the year, which is certainly...
You know, and Majors talks about him, says he's very unselfish, real low-key, spreads the credit, he accepts the blame. And just the thing with Andy, every once in a while he's going to come up with one and you'll think, where'd that come from? You know, it's like the interception, the long interception he threw earlier in the game.
Yeah, that's just the opposite of television. In television, you spread the blame, accept the credit. I was just thinking. Yeah. 2nd down 7. Tennessee content to just run it down now. Aaron Hayden will just keep hammering it in there on the offensive line, and UCLA will stop the clock, and I think that'll be their last timeout. I'll double check the timeouts, but they shouldn't be significant save for a major Tennessee turnover. Yeah, that's all the UCLA timeouts. Hughes' team will undoubtedly go to 1-1 on the season. They'll play at San Diego on the 26th of September. Tennessee about to go 2-0, leading 30-16, 2:39 to go. Bruins out of timeouts. Kelly's just going to keep it running up the middle. He gets the first down. That was a significant first down because obviously with the 3rd down and UCLA out of timeouts, the only way they could get and stop the clock would be to get the ball back. Kelly, heady play and a good call.
Philip Fulmer, the offensive coordinator here at Tennessee, offensive line coach, has got to be happy with the progress of his offense. I think that they have discovered Faulkner. I think they knew that he had the ability, but now defensive coordinators that they will play will know that he's got the ability, so they've got to be concerned about that. So you got Pickens over here, Faulkner over here, and these freshman running backs are starting to develop.
Mario Brunson with the carry that time. Faulkner 7 catches today. He didn't have 1 reception against Louisville. And of course, Carl Pickens got the big 34-yard TD reception in the first quarter. Put Tennessee out in front 7-0. Dale Carter, Tennessee's star safety, was ejected from the game for throwing a punch. We had been informed earlier he was out of the game because he had hurt his knee. The Tennessee sideline doctor told our Ron Thulin, though, that his knee was okay. He had simply been ejected. So we'll have to follow the Carter story as Tim and I will be back here next week for Tennessee and Mississippi State next Saturday afternoon here in Knoxville. Hayden carrying again, time at 1:20, and the clock will just continue running as UCLA can't stop it now.
When you defend a team like Tennessee, you want to take away what they do best. And Pickens hurt him in the 2nd possession, but it hasn't been real painful since then. As Terry Donahue looks on, and Bob Fields did that, the defensive coordinator, but Tennessee was good enough on the other side to beat them. They were good enough man-to-man on the other side. They couldn't get the wide guys covered on the strong side with the defensive backs that they had left.
I think that's Mike Stoll, who's down, junior offensive guard, number 59. They're looking at his left leg. Tennessee, that's why the clock stopped with 1:12 to go. As Johnny Majors is running in some secondary players here.
Terry Donahue talking to Rick Neuheisel. Is a great quarterback at UCLA. The walk-on who eventually earned a scholarship and owned some records himself.
Still working on the injured Tennessee player. A lot of the 97,000 have already headed for the exits here, with Tennessee locking up this victory by a score of 30-16 this afternoon. And they've done it about every way. An interception touchdown, a blocked punt that 3 plays later led to a touchdown, the touchdown pass. So Tennessee has had solid defense. They've had a variety of ways to score, including the special teams, and Johnny Majors will have to feel pleased with this performance against UCLA. And UCLA is expected to be a top division team in the Pac-10 this year, one of the top 5.
One of the sour notes for Tennessee, though, is Bernard Daphne went out of the game, a lineman, a tackle, early in the first half, and now Stoll is carried to the sidelines. I mean, they're already replacing 2 first-round draft choices in that front wall, and they don't need anybody else to get hurt.
Here's Aaron Hayden again. Hayden's had a truckload of carries today, but not quite the yardage of last week. 18 carries for only 42 yards, and last week in 19 he had 109. Inside a minute, 30 seconds to go in this ball game, and the UCLA Bruins will get some precious feeling air conditioning. Terry Donahue said, I'll tell you what, he said, in addition to the talent of Tennessee, the other biggest single concern I have is the heat and humidity, and it's played its part here in this ball game today.
It has, and he was concerned about the kicking game, and that really played its part.
You bet. That's going to be the last play of the game. Tennessee will come up over the ball, but they'll just have to snap it, and it'll be over with only 3 seconds remaining here. And the victory over UCLA, 30-16. Tennessee very probably will move up in the rankings into the top 10 when we see them next week against Mississippi State. And Tim, you know, I'm excited about that game. Bulldogs should defeat Tulane. They'll certainly be favored and could come in here undefeated 3-0.
They should be favored, but they better keep their head up, you know, because Tulane plays good defense. Mississippi State playing without Sleepy Robinson is it's going to be interesting to see what they can generate on offense. Johnny Majors certainly worked up a sweat, but he's happy about it.
So Tennessee gets the 30-16 win. We'll be back after this.
SEC football on TBS, UCLA.
Final score from Knoxville, Tennessee 30, UCLA 16. Today's player of the game, Tennessee quarterback Andy Kelly. TBS Sports is proud to donate $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of the University of Tennessee. Next week, Tim and I will be back here in Knoxville as Mississippi State takes on the Volunteers. For Tim Foley, our entire TBS Sports crew, this is Bob Neal saying so long from Knoxville.
Hello, everyone. I'm Gordon Soley, and this is Maine.
Coming off the win over BYU. Tennessee coming in, and you know how dangerous Carl Pickens is. He's the guy that killed Louisville with a couple of touchdowns. Andy Kelly hooks up with him, 34 yards in the touchdown. The Volunteers go up 7-0. Early in the fourth quarter now, it's 17-9. Tracy Smith, the interception of Tommy Maddox, 37 yards later, the Volunteers go up 23-9. They missed the point. The Bruins would answer. Still 23-9. Maddox, the screen to Kevin Williams. Williams breaks through. Look at his speed. Not that fast. 74 yards for a touchdown, makes it 23-16. Then J.J. McCluskey busts in and puts the Volunteers up 30-16. They go on for the victory. Maddox just 74 yards with a touchdown pass there. UCLA still hasn't beaten Tennessee since 1978. Nebraska and Colorado State. Getting together in Knoxville. A lot of big play weapons in this game. For UCLA, Tommy Maddox. Could they protect him? For Tennessee, Carl Pickens. Could Andy Kelly find him? Yes, for 37 yards. He killed Louisville with a couple of touchdowns. He killed UCLA on this day, 7-0. It's 17-9 when Tracy Smith picks off Maddox. 37 yards later, the Volunteers are rolling 23-9. But the Bruins would answer. Kevin Williams, a big play threat, breaks through a hole here. Look at him go. The Volunteers amazed by that speed. 23-16. Volunteers still up, and then J.J. McCluskey ices it, gets in the end zone. Tennessee wins it 30-16. The Vols have Mississippi State next Saturday. Andy Kelly, 275 yards, but he did have three interceptions rather. Texas A&M and LSU.
UCLA game.
The Volunteers had their running game shut down by UCLA all day long. But instead, they just went to the passing game and also a superb defensive play to beat the Bruins and Tommy Maddox. They go 2-0 on the season, and we start at Neyland Stadium as we wrap up the rest of the day's college football. In Knoxville, the Tennessee Volunteers may have played their way into the top 10 of the USA Today CNN rankings. Converted tailback Tracy Smith picked off a Tommy Maddox pass, and his 38-yard return gave the Vols enough cushion to hold off the Bruins. Heisman Trophy candidate Carl Pickens was the star on offense with 6 receptions for 104 yards and a touchdown.